Trick or treat, Mother Tucker. It was all tricks and no treats for the Green Bay Packers as Tucker Kraft, rest in power. Packers offense for 2025, rest in something else that begins with a P. And we all know why, folks. We all know exactly why this happened.
First of all, it is imperative that I bring this up because we have to correct something horrible that's going on right now that I didn't know you were going to do on this live stream.
Okay.
You may recall that we're taking jinxes more seriously on this podcast now. And I have discovered that you are jinxing some people, and this needs to stop.
Oh no! Oh, do you have
your
receipts
display
of this?
name on this podcast at the beginning of the year?
Oh my gosh!
Was Malik Neighbors, and then you changed it to Cam Scadaboo, and now you changed it to Tucker Kraft. So get that crap off the screen. Do not jinx Tucker Kraft. You jinxed Malik Neighbors, and then you jinxed Cam Scadaboo.
You're right.
Do not jinx Tucker Kraft.
You're right, fam.
This needs to change. You can say Luke Musgrave is your GOAT.
No,
you can go say Colson Loveland is your GOAT. I don't care, but it can't be Tucker Kraft or any Packer who I care about a lot. I'm sorry to have to do this to you, but I'm polling rank. You cannot jinx Tucker Kraft on this podcast.
Oh, well.
So what do you have to say for yourself for condemning 3 superstar NFL players?
Sounds like you made the pattern, and it's your fault. Sounds like it's you made the pattern. You're connecting dots. You're pointing things out. You're pointing things out on a podcast, knowing that it's going to potentially be one, and you're actually just you said it out loud last week. You're nuts.
I appreciate that you're trying to do
you're absolutely nuts
a little bit now.
You're absolutely
change
nuts.
Your display name to Colson Loveland, hashtag for the brand. I appreciate that. It's a little cruel because I didn't know that we were in the business of wishing harm on enemy teams, but I will accept this. This is a good olive branch.
119-2. We always for that brand. Thanks, Bengals.
So we're gonna try and put on a brave face here and do a podcast. It is sad. I think Romeo Doubs said it best.
Wouldn't wish that, just on, one of our captains or even just your worst enemy. I don't wish that on any man. And, Tucker is in a better place. But, again, you just got to... Next question, please.
It's a dark day. It's a dark day for Packerdom.
He's in a better place.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in here. Despite our pain, we're going to push through. I appreciate that Romeo Doubs is taking the correct tone on this. All right. Mrs. Lahey and I were speculating before the podcast began about what that better place is that he might be in. And all the answers we came up with are not podcast appropriate. We can't put them on here, but speculate among yourselves. Maybe you can think of some podcast appropriate. Think of some podcast appropriate places where he can be instead of the Lambeau Field.
I have one.
Yeah.
The news. He's meeting to be a spokesperson of Redacted Energy.
All right. I'll take it.
That's what he's doing.
I'll cheers to that.
Does that sound good? Okay. Perfect. Let's do that.
I brought something.
You brought something.
This is kind of how I'm feeling right now as a Packer fan. This is a dark week.
Listen.
I feel like there has been a shift.
I got really emotional this week.
In Packer fan mood. I think that the fan base has turned a bit against Matt LaFleur after this Panthers game. And you may not agree personally with the sentiment, but I think you will acknowledge that the fan base writ large has kind of turned the corner a little bit on their feeling toward Matt LaFleur. He is not as popular today as he was 7 days ago. And he's going to have to work himself back into Packer fans' good graces. There's a lot of frustration. I'm gonna give Matt LaFleur one little flower. I thought that his first timeout that he called in the first half was a very well-placed timeout. He settled his team down. It was interesting watching it happen live because I think there's like 1 minute and 52 seconds left on the clock. Clock's not running, by the way. It's an incomplete pass. He calls a timeout. I don't think that this was your typical, like, hey, I don't like the look on the field. I want to get us into a different look. I don't think that's what was going on at all. He could tell his guys were so rattled. He burned the timeout to settle them down, calm them down, and then they marched down and they put some points on the board. I'm going to give him some kudos for that. That was maybe the only thing I saw from him the entire day that I liked. This was not a particularly good Matt LaFleur game. It was not a particularly good game from just about anybody. Then it's the trade deadline. And I think I speak for everybody in saying that, as Packer fans, we don't enjoy this day, this trade deadline day. It's not a fun day of the year.
I thought it was
It's
awesome,
very much like an eat your vegetables day. Okay?
I thought it was
except it's like your parents are dentists and it's Halloween and you have to eat your vegetables
stinks.
On Halloween. Okay?
If that's how you feel, I apologize to those who feel that way.
So the trade deadline comes and goes, and here was Brian Gutekunst's contribution. All right.
Hey, we signed some guys, okay, to the practice squad. All right. We signed
a couple guys to the active roster.
Josh Wiley comes up to the active roster. McClellan Castles is on the practice squad. They made some moves today. Okay. We're getting better as a unit. We're going to grow as a unit going forward.
And there's plenty of time for that. I want to hit on the chat for a bit because there's some really good things in here.
One more thing before you go to the chat. Mm-hmm. I feel like this show's going to be half cope, half distraction. I feel like that's like what that's what we're going to see. We're going to talk about probably other things. I've brought some stuff that I found interesting and all that stuff.
Usually today, we bring like maybe one thing a piece.
Yeah. I mean,
you're saying you brought some stuff. I think I have 20 tabs open that I plan to get to at some point.
Yeah, you brought in
videos,
the Jinx. You brought in the Jinx and Romeo so far already. And I'm going, okay, what else does he have for us on this level?
I have my top 25 for the college football rankings.
Oh, I only did 15.
I mean, I think I only really care. I think I only really care about the top 12, but I did do the top 25.
Okay, well that's good. We can talk quite a bit about that.
I'll be curious to say about my first. Yeah, I'll be curious to hear what you say about my first team out of the top 25.
Yeah, Miami.
It's close. Here the
got an M in it.
Here's the chats I want to get to. No M's.
Okay.
There's no M's anywhere in their entire long name. Okay. I'm going to hit some of these chat things because the chat is part of this. They are the third co-host on this show.
Yeah.
And we've been ignoring them. All right. Dershel says, I'm going to count Asante Samuel Jr. as a trade deadline addition to feel things after today. To which I say the same thing that I said to Jake when he basically said that, which is y'all are at the bargaining stage of grief now. Your addition that you should be counting from today is named Micah Parsons. Dershel says, tool for this, I think you'll have to get a Musgrave jersey and become a believer. We're going to have some Musgrave conversations.
Is the Musgrave thing like a Scientology cult type of thing now? Is that like, are we doing that? That feels like bargaining. The Musgrave stuff this week on Twitter all over the place feels like bargaining as well.
There certainly is, as it pertains to like, hey, here's what he has been, and like, here's why he hasn't been good so far, and it's all like smoke and mirrors. Like that is certainly bargain. The reality is, we're about to see a lot of Luke Musgrave. We're gonna get very familiar with him.
That's exactly what I wanted. I asked Santa for this.
Just
I asked
for
Santa
the record,
back in September. I said, let's get more Musgrave. Let's get more Musgrave.
Playing devil's advocate.
And Santa said, you got it, Chief.
Dudes who we've been really far out on, who we had to come back and eat our words and say, you know what? Colby Wooden, who we had in the fry cook category, pretty big contributor for our team this year. All right. There's been some dudes
for sure
in that category before.
Yeah.
So Luke Musgrave, I always hated you as whoa, what in the world is that?
See, the camera didn't want no, the camera was trying to save you from this take. Is trying to save you from what you're about to say. It did its best, but I think that was the one chance it had.
It's not even like my camera fell over or anything. It's a robot camera. See, if I go over here, it's supposed to follow me. And it's just decided to suddenly to zoom in.
Did it see you moving your mouse and was like, oh, wait, there's movement down there?
I guess. I mean, you'd think it'd be honing in on my sweet can of redacted.
There you go. I don't have any can of redacted. I need one.
The Wolf has said, never go backward, only go Edward. Reference to Ed policy.
Oh, yes.
Okay. Jake basically shot Derek Jeter. Basically did. Thurshel says, Jake, please don't put Colson Loveland. He's my only tight end in fantasy left after Tucker got hurt. I will say, I pulled off a trade for George Kittle while he was on IR because I had an IR slot that I was not using. And so I'm still okay on my fantasy.
I was
any running backs.
I was like trying to send out like pseudo Breece Hall offers today because I was like, if he gets, I'm like, I'm gonna see if I can get like, I wasn't gonna send anything out that I'm like, I would not like to part with this, because he hadn't been traded yet, right? The hope that he was. I was hoping he was gonna go to Kansas City, and so I've
done that before this year.
I was kind of like, force the issue a little bit. Which, by the way, last week I kind of did that inadvertently. I picked up Manungai about an hour before they said Swift was out, which was great luck on my part. But yeah, fantasy was a weird day today because I feel like there were a lot of people just kind of like I might trade you this. It was kind of like a weird game of chicken today, which is pretty much what the trade deadline is also. But in fantasy as well. So that was kind of wild. It was fun though. We'll be talking trade deadline, I assume, at some point as part of our distraction while the other stuff is cope.
We'll do that, and we'll also talk some college ball because it's interesting today. If you're not a college football guy, we're going to make it interesting for you. I promise. Herschel says, guys, college football rankings just dropped. Big Ten wiping the floor, as they should. The SEC is mega overrated. The Big 12 is eating itself. The ACC is mid.
The ACC is hilarious.
This is the Big Ten's
truly
sport this year.
The ACC is very funny. The ACC is hysterical.
They are.
Why? We should have seen this coming because they've continued to do this.
Should have. We did.
Other than Clemson of like, this is like the thing where it's like, oh yeah, they did. Hey, this division never repeats the champion. And then it's like, yeah, the ACC never repeats the teams. Ever. And it was like, and I get it. Miami wasn't in it last year, right? And so, like, they were, heavy favorite to do so. They beat Notre Dame, blah, 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 all that stuff. But yeah, the ACC is very funny. Georgia Tech losing was hilarious last week. Didn't get to see it. YouTube TV, Disney. Sorry, we are on YouTube, but, it is what it is. Anyway, we'll get to the college football
playoff. The college football playoff website, by the way, still has last year's rankings up, and so they still have Ohio State as 8. And so for a second, I thought that it was the current year, and I really wanted to get a justification for how Ohio State starts at 8 this year. I think it's okay.
JJ was ready to rant. He's like, you have to be kidding. Who's ahead of him?
I think it's okay if you put Ohio State as low as 3. I wouldn't, but it's certainly defensible to do something like that.
Maybe. Yeah.
But 8 would be hilarious.
Yeah, potentially
I just would really
justifiable. Yeah, it's justifiable enough to a degree, perhaps, but I would not do it either.
So Dershel says Big Ten wiping the floor. Wolf this says I'm not familiar with college football. Is there a small 10?
The Atlantic 10.
There is. It's called the SEC.
The Atlantic 10 is the small 10. Conference that actually has 10. I think probably maybe.
They don't have 10. They have
the Atlantic 10 doesn't have 10.
Oh wait, what? I'm talking about the SEC.
I know you said SEC is the small 10, and I said the Atlantic 10 is the small 10.
The heck is the Atlantic 10? Atlantic 10?
Yeah, in basketball, the Atlantic 10.
Oh, I don't know.
It's funny because it has Loyola Chicago in it, and it's the Atlantic 10.
It's kind of like the Atlantic Coastal Conference that has Cal and SMU from
Stanford
from Dallas. Okay,
Stanford.
Adam Huddle says time to go 5 wide. Do we have 5 wide receivers on the roster? We got Golden, Watson, Doubs, Wicks, Malik Heath. Oh, Savion. So that's 6. Did I miss anybody? 6. We got 6 receivers. Okay, We could go 5 wide. We could. All right.
Is Savion getting doghouse treatment after that fumble? Now I know because of necessity, he was out there like down the stretch. But like, if everyone's healthy, are we going to see some of that at all?
Well, he's a Packers third-round pick. What do you expect?
Or is it going to be like the Patriots, where Ramondre fumbles and Vrabel's like, no, more, and like so.
And
which one is it?
I can't. Sitting on the bench.
I can't wait to find out.
Like, can I just get some playing time?
I should have worn my Golden shirt. That's what I should have done.
I did have a Savion thought this week while I was watching the game, and I've subconsciously thought this a few times, but this is the first time I verbalized it.
The Guardian cap.
The people I was watching with, which is it's hilarious to me watching him out there on the field. First of all, he's got a very distinct look. He's got the pink hair sticking out, long pink hair sticking out the back of his helmet. And he's just got a unique build. There's nobody else on the roster with a build like his. The closest I can think of would have been that actually Devontae's body had a similar shape to it. Just a very unique body shape. But Savion's mannerisms when he's on the field crack me up. If there's a run play and like at the end of the run, dude's tackled and there's a bit of a pile up, he's always like standing on the edge of the pile up and like jumping. He's like standing on his tiptoes and jumping. And he just looks like a kid out there every time. It cracks me up. The fumble did not crack me up, but watching him jump cracks me up.
It's not even the helmet. He just looks like QJ to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, throw a picture up here. Let's see. Let's see what you got.
He just looks. He just like, but like it's. No, not just a picture. Just like how he runs, the cuts, some of the double catches we saw in camp. All of that just it's crazy that both are TCU guys, but he truly does look a lot like QJ in many aspects.
Adam Huddle says Big Ten is still just Ohio State. That is not true. That very much tells me you've not watched any Big Ten football this year.
What?
There is now. I'm an Ohio State fan, but just being fair and unbiased, there is a strong case to make that Indiana is a better team than Ohio State this year. You can make that case. I'm not going to make that case because I don't believe it, but I'm certainly not going to get annoyed at anybody who believes that. And Oregon is legit, man. Oregon is the real deal.
And Indiana beat them in their place.
Yeah. Which is probably the single best win of the year for anybody, I think, because Eugene is a really tough place to play.
Yeah.
And they didn't just beat them; they whooped them. Where is the other comment?
Did Georgia played Mississippi, right?
Here it is. Yeah, they beat them. Yeah, they beat them.
Who beat who? Georgia.
So Georgia beat Ole Miss.
That's probably the second best win. I think.
Cannot agree with that.
What's the second best win?
It's not between two mid teams from the SEC. Those are Ole Miss is not that good, and Georgia is terrible.
Tell me who it is.
The second best win is probably A&M over Notre Dame, or Louisville over Miami.
I can't.
A&M's win over Notre Dame is very good.
That's pretty good. I cannot accept ACC answers. I simply can't. You won't see
Texas's
me.
win over Oklahoma in the Red River rivalry was pretty good.
You won't see me there. Yeah,
trying to think.
Pretty good.
Oh, and then
that's pretty good.
I thought Arizona State beating Texas Tech was good as well. Those would probably. Oh, Utah annihilating
without Morton though. Without Morton.
I don't know. It was just a really good game.
It was a
really good game, and Oklahoma is really good.
Man, we got into this earlier than I thought we were. It's mostly the comments.
Well, yeah, we will have a lot more comments. So, 12 said, "Isn't the Big Ten actually 547 teams? So they're at 18 teams currently. I really want them to add 2 more because then
expansion.
You could do 2 divisions of 10 and be the Big Ten that way. But just for scheduling purposes, having 20 teams would be nice.
Big Ten.
I just don't know who I would want for the final spot. Because I want Notre Dame, and then I just don't know who I'd like. North Carolina or Miami or Florida State kind of feel like the only answers for that final spot. So I think I probably would be tempted to go either Miami or North Carolina. North Carolina would be a nice addition for basketball purposes.
For sure.
Probably. And they're a little bit closer than either of the Florida schools. But it would be a little bit nice to have a school in Florida for that recruiting boost.
Yeah. Accurate.
Lake Michigan is the stepbrother of the Atlantic. I don't remember the context of this comment, but
no,
so like it.
Me either.
12 of it says, I know Minnesota is in the Big Ten. You know what? And they're, for a team whose floor and ceiling are 8 wins. It's not bad. Minnesota is like the Pittsburgh Steelers of the Big Ten.
No, I think it's Iowa.
Yeah.
Same colors. It just all fits really nicely.
Iowa is definitely. So
both sides of the ball are never good at the same time.
So here's a crazy question then. Is Minnesota the Minnesota of the Big Ten?
That could be. I could see that.
Adam Huddle says Savion is going to be the playoff black cat, unfortunately. What does that mean? What does that mean?
I don't know, but I'm intrigued.
Minnesota is booty.
I'm intrigued.
Still think Oregon is good, and maybe they get hot. Indiana is also good, but don't see them making that. They are absolutely talented enough to get there. I would say the one thing with Indiana is they may not have the depth for that deep playoff push. By the time, assuming Ohio State beats Michigan this year, the Big Ten championship game is going to be Indiana, Ohio State. And I would say coin toss who wins that game. I would not put my thumb on the scale for either one of those teams.
I can't wait for that game.
When those two teams then meet again in the playoffs, by that point, I would put money on Ohio State being a lot fresher than Indiana, and that Indiana may not have as much left in the tank by the time you get to that final elimination game. So, while I think Indiana certainly is talented enough to win at all. Oklahoma's old QB was also Booty. Yeah, was it Major Booty or General Booty? What was his name? General Booty?
John David was USC, right? So General would be Oklahoma. Yeah. That's right.
Savion feels like the player who is going to make the crippling playoff mistake that costs Green Bay this year. Don't put that in the universe, man. I might disagree.
I was gonna say there might be another player on the team, even on offense. Anyway,
look, we already cut.
What are we gonna say?
Whatever that guy's name was, who I hated. Who was that 7th round wide receiver I hated? Who was just awful.
Cornelius wasn't a draft pick. Samori Toure.
Yeah. We already cut him. He was absolutely the dude who would have done that.
But we also
he's long gone.
JJ's 2 on the top of his list. One of them is cut. One of them got an extension earlier this year. So
yeah, but you know what? Like honestly,
no news is good news.
No
news is good news.
He quit being piss poor. All right, and he's just forgettable now, and that
news
is
great news right now. Who is the long snapper? Great question. In that great question has layers to it. Like
don't know, don't care, right?
We love that. Yes, as long as the problem is what you do know, right? The fact that he is like dropped off the radar is excellent. Yeah. That is excellent for all involved right now. We don't have to talk about him anymore. Yeah, we don't have to talk about it.
I don't complain about him anymore. Yeah. There's guys I still complain about. Nate Hobbs is trash. Keisean Nixon
he got volatile. He got hurt.
Okay. So Nate Hobbs is going to miss at least 2 weeks. They're saying maybe more with a new injury to his leg. I already forgot what the injury was.
How can he get enough reps? He's been hurt twice. He just hasn't had enough reps. He hasn't been acclimated into the system. Man, he's just missing so many games.
He's like MarShawn Lloyd. Dude, we got to get you a light. All right. I paid $9 on Amazon for this light that I use. And like the brightness difference between your face and my face, you look like you live stream out of a closet. Oh, yeah, that's a little better. Are you opening up a bunch of white windows on your monitor?
No, I have a massive ring light. You know this. You were here. I have a massive ring light.
It looks better now. It looks okay. Look at how handsome he looks now. You get the definition in his face.
This hurts my face, bro. I need sunglasses. This hurts my face.
I do it for the people. Wear your sunglasses. You know what? Wait a minute.
I should.
Maybe I can page my staff and ask them.
It's because it's too blue. That's really the only problem here. Is the light is too blue. That's the problem. It doesn't even need to be up that high. It's just the light's blue.
I paged my staff and asked them to bring me my hater blockers.
There you go. Okay.
Dershel says, what's going to be a bigger scandal? Nixon's Watergate. Nixon's Watergate or Nixon's Watergate?
Okay.
This is amazing.
Let's go here since we're starting to talk about, we're getting back to the Packers. Was there a player you wanted at the deadline today? Non-corner division and corner division.
So before I get a little deeper into that, I want to read off my tweet from 32 minutes before the trade deadline. And I said that the positions I really wanted to make additions to were corner, guard, tight end, defensive tackle, and center. And my lovely assistant brought me my hater blockers.
There you go.
And here, Jake, I got a pair for you too.
All right.
Grab them.
I can't grab them.
Oh, I dropped them.
Like
bumbled it just like Savion did. I look cool, man. This is a good look for me.
You can see the light.
I can't see my computer monitor very well.
You can see the light though. Now you can. Yeah, you can see the light.
I look dope. I look dope.
See the light. Nah. This is the dope stuff right here, baby.
That is a really cool shirt.
Let's go.
I think my coolness factor went up by at least 10 when I put these on.
There you go. Well, it's the hater blockers, so absolutely. The aura goes up when you're not worried about the haters. And they can't get to
haters.
You.
Can't see my haters.
They can't get to you. The aura goes up.
Too old for this says something, and I can't really read it because of my hater blockers.
JJ looks like the blues only child. Blues only child. That's, I
look like Blues Clues. Justice for the beach ball. Too old for this says the real reason we lost to the Panthers is the coach who popped the beach ball. Hashtag beach ball gate. My wife was annoyed that the beach ball got popped as well. She thought it was aggressive.
It got popped. Did it get popped by Carolina?
I didn't recognize the face of the guy. I think he was.
Was it? I think he was. Did it?
Well, I think so because I didn't recognize his face. Like
that's
everybody. I may not know the name of every person on the sideline.
Testament of the difference of physicality on Sunday.
I certainly
they went after the beach ball.
Their faces,
and we did not.
They wanted the ball.
We let it pass
didn't
by.
You know?
Yeah, they wanted it.
Didn't you know they wanted the ball?
Wanted it more. Got more rebounds. They made more putts. All that good stuff.
Jake, you know how
all the classics.
So often on here, I make the statement that the Green Bay Packers and Ohio State Buckeyes are like always in the exact same spot as each other. They're always dealing with the same things. You got the same things going on.
Yes.
I got a couple more examples. So this week, the Panthers and the Nittany Lions both just ran the ball super hard, and the defensive line for the two teams who we're talking about here really couldn't slow them down. Finally, the Buckeyes were able to kind of get something going and run defense. But
one team made adjustments.
One team made adjustments. The other team crapped their pants. Both teams don't have like an established right guard and are constantly rotating their right guard.
Yes.
Both teams also. The Buckeyes have a new athletic director, Ross Bjork, and the Packers have a new CEO, Ed Policy, and both of these guys are doing little things to try and kind of put their own fingerprint on like the culture of these two teams a bit. So, Ross Bjork was like kind of making a big deal about the different alternate uniforms he wanted to do this year. And Ed Policy wrote a thing on Packers.com about inventing a new Packers uniform based on an iconic part of Packer culture. And like the only thing that anybody could think of was like cheese. So we think we're going to get a cheese uniform now. Although beer would make sense too, a beer uniform. Dershel said, I will say after watching the Panthers, they shouldn't be a 12-point dog against anyone. This is maybe where the Buckeyes and Panthers diverge a little bit. The Buckeyes have covered every single spread this year, and the Packers now have lost twice when they were 11-point favorites. So, needless to say, Matt LaFleur is being investigated for gambling. We believe that he has ties to Terry Rozier. So this is unfortunate, but it's just how it be. I don't think I can take these hater blockers off.
It do be how it be. I will say there are the Panthers didn't really play their best. At least PFF says the Panthers did not play their best game against Green Bay.
You didn't need to with the way we were playing. That tracks.
Cleveland indeed played one of their best, other than when they crushed the Dolphins. So other than that Dolphin game, which was an absolute domination, their second best game, according to PFF, was against the Packers. Dallas' second best game was against the Packers so far. So there is maybe something to that a little bit, but also like Green Bay has handed Detroit and the Commanders their two worst games according to PFF. So each of their worst game has come against Green Bay. So it is again, but this is like something we know, right? Think about 2 years ago.
Packers
where
MO.
were we?
We know
where were we 2 years ago, right? Remember, think about this. Green Bay is trying to make a push down the stretch, right? And, oh, baby, Thanksgiving, Jordan Love, Christian Watson, Jordan Love, Jayden Reed, they come out and smack the Lions in the mouth. Then Sunday night, they take the Chiefs out. Then they lose to Tommy DeVito and the Giants. It's not new. Like,
no,
we should almost be
it has
ready for this stuff.
Transcended multiple Packers rosters.
We should be ready for this.
This is a Matt LaFleur
at this
issue.
point. Yeah.
All of Matt LaFleur's
probably going to beat the Eagles this week because it doesn't make any sense after last week. They're probably going to beat the Eagles.
There's only one player who has been here the entire time, and it's Rashan Gary. So it's either a Rashan Gary problem
right,
or it's a Matt LaFleur problem.
Well, Elton has, but he hasn't played
the head coach.
Time. Elton has, but he hasn't played the whole time. So I guess.
Oh, you're right, Elton.
Oh, yeah, because Gary hasn't played the whole time either. Yeah.
It's a Matt LaFleur problem.
Scary.
And look, I have a pronouncement on Matt LaFleur. Matt LaFleur is not good enough. I don't know that we can hire a better head coach to replace him, but Matt LaFleur is not good enough. He needs to get better. He needs to get better.
I think like the only because people are going to throw out like, oh, Gruden or Nick Saban would be great. It's like, okay, first off,
yeah, just like Bill Belichick was great.
Bill Belichick's doing great. I think like the one thing you could maybe sell me on is Hafley as the head coach and Mike McDaniel as the offensive coordinator. Like maybe that's the one realistic thing where you could get me on board. But otherwise,
as a head coach at Boston College, though, it wasn't pretty.
Yes, but
he's a really good.
It's also Boston College, so I don't think that there's enough pull there.
Bill O'Brien's got that program humming better than Jeff Hafley did.
Well, that's impressive because I've heard zero about Boston College this year at all.
I mean, they're not having a good year this
out of
year.
Sight,
they had a great year last year. They
out
don't have
sight,
a quarterback. Yeah, look.
Sounds like Bill O'Brien sucks at getting QBs.
When you recruit at the level, that is a rich comment.
Sounds like a problem on his part. Figure it out, Chief.
Yeah, I don't know about that. But that's like the one thing he's actually really good at in recruiting. But when you recruit level that Boston College does, when you recruit at their level, you don't have up years every year. You have cycles. Two over this says, I think Matt needs to step out of play calling until at least the little problems we keep having get fixed.
He cannot.
Matt LaFleur giving up play calling is probably the most likely solution that would actually fix the Packers' problems. Stop being the offensive coordinator. Go hire a real offensive coordinator.
That's the problem. They have to do that. They have to do that.
Go hire an OC who can do the job of an OC and go be a head coach. Right now, we don't have a head coach. We have an offensive coordinator. We have a run game coordinator and an offensive line coach. So that's Matt LaFleur, Adam Stanovich, and Luke Butkus. And then we have a defensive coordinator. Go hire a real OC. There's like 20 teams in the NFL that have managed to do that. You're the Green Bay Packers. Surely you can figure out how to hire a real offensive coordinator. Do that. Oh, Dershow's leaving. He doesn't like my rant. I'll catch the rest on a replay. We'll miss you, guy. Go hire a real OC, Matt. And stop giving the kind of snarky jerkwad answers that you're giving in press conferences, too. All right? That's not helping. But he's asked yesterday, hey, is Jayden Reed close to getting ready to come back? And he first of all, he acts like it's the dumbest question of all time. And then he tries to give like a philosophical answer. He's like, well, what is close? Bro, every single person who heard the question, who doesn't even follow football, understood the question. I'm a little annoyed at Matt LaFleur. Hire a real OC. All right. I don't think with the current version of Matt LaFleur that we have, we can't win a Super Bowl. Matt LaFleur needs to be better if we're going to win a Super Bowl. He can't keep having these stinker games, and having one at home is just embarrassing. At home, when you're wearing these alternate uniforms and, you got the crowd all amped up and everything, and a freaking beach ball, like everybody's lit. And you don't have your guys ready. You don't have an offensive game plan assembled for the Carolina Panthers. You can't tackle Rico freaking Dowdle. Newsflash, there's better running backs in the NFL than Rico Dowdle. You're going to face one this week, Saquon Barkley. I'm not the biggest Saquon Barkley fan in the world.
Everything this year is saying the guy last week's better than the guy this week. Now, do I believe that?
Jake, true or false? Are there better running backs in the NFL than Rico Dowdle?
This season, yeah, there's a few. For sure.
Rico Dowdle cannot carve you up. Hey, you know what this reminds me of? The last time we had a freaking no-name running back come in and dice us up, Raheem Mostert.
You're carving everybody up right now.
Tool for this says those specific throwbacks looked cool, but they are cursed. My wife, like as the game was ending, she turns to me. She's like, "We can't ever wear these uniforms ever again."
For sure, no more.
The winter warning whiteout unis, those are clean. We're gonna keep wearing those.
Yeah,
they
for sure.
Are,
home.
Look, I am
home or on the
slowly
road,
but surely becoming an expert on jersey juju. We can't wear these alternates again. It sucks because they looked awesome. It was a great design. The leather helmets were cool. We probably need to do a bit more data collection and wear the leather helmets in another game to get another data point to find out if the helmets are cursed too. But certainly the uniforms are cursed. Helmets do play by some different rules.
Yeah. Can I say one more thing about the playing down to competition? All right, just so we have this, just in case, just so we have this. All right, it would be very, very Green Bay, okay, in the truest sense.
Yeah.
Because I've heard it. I'm listening to the pods. I'm listening to stuff. It's like, Green Bay doesn't quite have it. Green Bay doesn't have it. Like, I just don't think they're true contender. Blah blah blah. They're gonna beat Philly this week, okay? They're gonna beat Philly. Everybody's gonna be back in. Everybody's gonna be back in, okay? It's like, oh wow, they beat the champs. This is real now again. Then they're gonna lose the Giants on the road at the Giants, okay?
Yeah.
And then everybody's gonna be out. Everybody's gonna be out again. And then they'll go beat Minnesota and Detroit back to back, and everybody's gonna be back in. Right? And it's going to be one of these ridiculous things that goes back and forth, and maybe it's two in a row. Maybe it's they lose the Giants, and they lose to McCarthy at home and company. Right? They lose the Vikings. And then they go beat the Lions on Thanksgiving, leaving no doubt. And it's like, okay, you have lost to the Giants and the Vikings and beaten the Eagles and the Lions the last month. What are you? That would be so Green Bay this year. It would be Green Bay. To be like, they left no doubt. They beat the Lions twice, and they beat them by a total of 35, 40 points for no reason. And they knock Philly out. And it's just kind of like, okay, but like they've lost to the Giants, Panthers, and Browns. Like, what is this? And it's like, well, at least those teams won't be in the playoffs to trip them up. And it's gonna be one of the wackiest conversations you're gonna have about a team all year. That just feels inevitable. They're beating the Eagles. I'm gonna call it now. They're gonna beat them. Nothing logically says they should beat them, but they will, because we've gotten into the point where I think they're going to go just absolute rat mode at this point. And like, they're like, all right, well, maybe we were looking ahead to Philly, but now Philly's going to hate the fact that we were looking ahead to them. And we're coming off an embarrassing loss. Like, Jalen Hurts, we'll see you on Monday night. You're not going to see us. We'll see you. And it just would be then, snip, snap. Exactly. They're going to be back. Everybody's going to be back in. Everybody's going to be back in after next Monday. This show next week is going to be like, man, everybody's so hyped because Barkley couldn't do anything, and Hurts was flustered because there's Halfley's just dialed up all the zone cover stuff. Nobody's open. and they got Cooper spying him, and Micah's tracking him down, and like Jordan Love's hitting the deep ball because Philly, Ja's coming back, but he can't cover anybody, and it's just everything is setting up perfectly for this because nobody thinks they're going to win next week now. Nobody does. It happened this past week to a team, not Green Bay. Everybody was completely out on Pittsburgh. And it's like, well, they'll never beat Indy. Okay. It's like we get so hyper-focused. We're so reactionary to the specific week. This whole league this year is what Tool for this is saying. Snip, snap, 100%. Everything this year has been like that. They're out on this. So now everybody's out on the Colts because they lost the Steelers. And they're like, well, this offense is toppling. It's over. It's a house of cards, blah, blah, blah. And they're going to go beat the crap out of the Falcons in Germany. And everybody's going to be back in. And it's just like, we need to slow down. And this, I'll bring this up because you know what? Yesterday I was emotional. Okay, I'll say it how like it is. I was emotional. All right, I maybe said something that I shouldn't have said. And I still pseudo believe
for the audio only listeners. This is a tweet from Jake that says if the Packers do any work at the deadline, it should be thinking about 2026. They can't win a Super Bowl without Kraft.
And so. Yes, I think part of me believes this is kind of true just based on how the passing game is structured. Like logically speaking of like, hey, and again, I've shared this article about a million times. So if you guys haven't seen the article, let me know. I will send you it. But Max Toscano put out this awesome thing about the Packers passing offense and how, and people have pointed it out as well. But like since week 3, this offense has been getting chunk plays with 7-step drops, and then the quick game plus the check down game with Kraft as a linear athlete who just is a destroyer of worlds after the catch. That's been their offense. It's been no 5-step.
What's the common denominator that has to cause that to be the offense? What's the common denominator, Jake?
Right. Why does the deep passing game still work when they know you're trying to go deep? Tucker Kraft is the difference because there aren't many tight ends who are A, a 6th offensive lineman, and B, that good of a linear athlete. If they are...
No, that's the reason why it was working. What's the common denominator for why they had to do that?
Tell me. What do you got?
It's the offensive line.
Okay, so you're saying, yeah, the 6-man protection, chip, release. Right. Because the first 2 weeks...
Plus the quick game, yeah.
The first 2 weeks, Jordan Love was eating on the intermediate stuff. They were crushing people with the intermediate game. And it has gone away completely. And that's what makes and that's why everybody maybe if you've been listening to people talk about Green Bay in depth, there's a few podcasts out there of like, this is weird. Green Bay is like weird on offense where it's like you don't quite it's kind of like it's not like it's not bad. It's obviously very good, but it feels like a wobbly chair, right? The 4-legged chair that's a little wobbly of like, what the heck? This is weird. Wobbly. It's working. It's fine, but it's just kind of like nagging at you that this shouldn't be wobbly like this. And that's what the passing offense has kind of felt like. And that's why, and I think that's why, because they're hunting for big stuff. And it clearly happened today where it was like, or on Sunday where they were hunting stuff. Jordan Love was throwing down the field. Now, the one that Golden should have caught, good throw. The Watson one, the first one that he was completed, great throw. Love that. Threw the deep dig to Doubs on a play on Sunday, phenomenal stuff. But it's like, okay, when you have max protect in and there's no outlets and the outlets are getting out there late, what does Jordan start to do? He's just like, well, I got to throw it deep now. I have to. That was the Watson pick. It was not a good one. So like you have those moments where like the intermediate stuff has to come back and the yak stuff has to be back. And Tucker Kraft was mainly the yak stuff because Jayden Reed's been out. And so you have to wait till Reed gets back to, have another kind of yak stud. And this is where it would be nice to have a player like Henderson on your team. Or an Achan, which is probably why they were calling, because you want an explosive player who's going to create problems once you get him the ball. Like that's 100% why they called about Achan. It was even before the Kraft injury. Like they wanted a player who was going to be a nightmare after the catch to have to make defenses respect that part of the game so you can still be able to push it down the field. And so that's why I'm, I should say I should have said they probably won't win a Super Bowl without Kraft. Instead, I said they can't. And so I'm gonna do this. All right, I'm gonna do something fun. Okay.
The current iteration of the Packers,
the current iteration,
and the way
of the
they've been
offense
trying to
Kraft.
do business,
yes,
on offense, can't win a Super Bowl without Kraft.
Right. And so logic brain went emotional
point,
brain. It was a problem.
Not having Tucker Kraft may force Matt to make some necessary changes.
For sure. So I'm going to put this out there.
One change could be retooling the offensive line and moving some guys around.
Which is kind of why I was thinking about, like, this could help in the short term this year and be a long-term solution, was to go get JPJ, who clearly the Raiders don't seem to like anymore, and would have been a very, very intriguing addition because he's played guard in the NFL. He was a great center at Oregon. That would have been very, very interesting for Green Bay to go after. They didn't end up doing it. So I'm going to say this, okay, for fun, because this would be really cool if this happens, all right? So I found something, JJ, that, you search the apparel sites, you have some fun. I found this. I don't know if you've seen this, if anybody else has seen this.
That is hideous.
It is a quilted camper hat.
Show me that you like it, because it's
okay. It looks like the Guardian cap of hats. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
really the Guardian cap of hats. All right. So I've got a proposition here. All right. If Green Bay beats the Eagles, which I think they probably will, I'll get this.
I think they will. Yeah.
Okay. I'll get this hat. All right. And I will wear it next
It's
week.
eligible for two-day delivery.
Right.
So if you order it,
I would think I'm gonna,
like, as soon as it's clear that we have won the game, you might have it in time to wear it Tuesday night on the live stream.
Maybe. Either way, if not, we'll have it the week after. And on top of it, I'm going to double down. Okay. I'm going to double down.
Oh, gosh.
All right. If they win the Super Bowl this year without Kraft, all right, I will put clown makeup on and wear this hat. Same time. Okay.
That's pretty good.
Sound like a plan? I will be a clown in this
I had something
quilted
much
camper
more embarrassing to suggest to you,
hat.
but that that's probably.
I think this will work.
I was gonna say that you have to buy a Musgrave jersey and wear it on the live stream if we win the Super Bowl.
You know what? All right.
That's like really poetic, because he's the replacement for Kraft.
Musgrave jersey, that hat, clown makeup, all three. We'll go all three.
Honestly, Musgrave jersey and clown makeup that's an acceptable combo 365 days a year anyways.
So I'll do that plus the hat. We'll already have the hat anyway. There you go, everyone. I think that's a very fun payoff to a tweet that got a little emotional, didn't have any logic behind it. It should have said the current iteration probably won't win a Super Bowl, the current iteration of said offense, with how it was leaning on Kraft. But you know what? When you're emotional, you don't really think too much. And that's what happened on Monday. And
you know what, Jake?
I'll wear it.
I
will wear it.
You're a really good dude. You're a nice guy. Like, you're a solid stand-up individual. And for that reason, it's kind of shocking and unfortunate that you are being forced to own up and
do a tweet
face the
before
music
nothing's
on
happened.
multiple things on this one episode.
Before nothing's happened,
like,
for this one.
I mean, like, you're having to take ownership for this tweet, and you're having to take ownership for your jinx of Tucker Kraft. I mean, it sucks.
That's all right. We gotta
most people, just knowing the two of us, would expect me to be the person who has to do that kind of crap. So it stinks.
I own it. And I think,
but
it is what it is.
But
with all that being said,
can we do a new segment sponsored by Redacted?
We can. But
it's time for
there's one thing we have to circle back to after the.
We got so many things we got to circle back to.
I know.
But we're segueing here to a Mark Murphy minute.
All right, I'm putting this off the screen.
Headline via New York Post: Mississippi mom guns down monkey that escaped from overturned truck to protect her children. You may remember a week ago that I should have clipped this moment too, but I didn't. That we paused the show to talk about the HIV COVID monkeys that escaped in Mississippi. So this heroic mom gunned down the rabid COVID monkey to protect her children.
Feels like Planet of the Apes.
Do you know how this ties into the Green Bay Packers? Because the rule with the Mark Murphy Minute is that the news has to tie into the Green Bay Packers.
Oh, no.
This happened in Mississippi. Mississippi State offensive lineman Elgton Jenkins plays for the Green Bay Packers, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers called trying to inquire about a trade for the Green Bay Packers starting center, as though at that moment we were not number one in the NFC. I thought this was particularly insulting and offensive, and I understand you're part of the job for Jason Light and for all of the other GMs in the league is you got to work the phones and hey, it doesn't hurt to ask. Maybe some doddering racist old fool down in Arlington, Texas will trade you the best defensive player in football for a ham sandwich and 2 first-round picks. Never know. Yeah. Why not ask?
Yeah.
But I found this a little bit insulting and offensive. It did get me thinking, though, about a related phone call that happened also at some point in this past week. Easton Butler reported that the Packers were calling on Evan Neal from the Giants. Now, I think that would have been a nice pickup to add Evan Neal to this offensive line. He's been playing right guard for the Giants. He also can play right tackle. If he were to be playing right tackle for the Packers, you could put Zach Tom at center and Elgton Jenkins back at left guard. And now you are back to a kind of comfortable, familiar spot for this Packers offensive line of the only place you stink is right guard. We're used to that. We've been living there since, what was the name of that guy? Lukas Patrick. Lukas Patrick played right guard for us for a while, and he was solid. Yeah. But we've been there since Lukas Patrick left. And prior to Lukas Patrick having that job for 5 minutes, we were stinking at right guard. We're very used to having 4 good offensive linemen and not having a right guard. So if we were in that situation, I'd be comfortable with that. Or alternatively, you bring in Evan Neal to play right guard. And then you put Jordan Morgan or Aaron Banks when he's healthy at left guard. And having the combo of those 2 guys, starting left guard X and Evan Neal, might make things a little bit better on either side of Elgton Jenkins, and that could improve the situation as well. Now, none of this happened, but with the trade deadline being passed, what I do want to spend 3 minutes talking about is how do we fix this offensive line situation? Because it has to get better. Elgton Jenkins has been just dreadful at center, just dreadful. He's had a couple games this year where he's been not the biggest problem. But we don't have a right guard. Feed has been up and down at left tackle. Aaron Banks, when healthy, has been not that good, and he's mostly not been healthy. I will say, Jake, we talked in the offseason. We were comparing the Aaron Banks and Nate Hobbs pickups. And you'll remember I didn't like either one, but I was firmly on the case of I think Aaron Banks is a better pickup than Nate Hobbs. Now that we've seen half the season, and neither of these guys have really played because they both have been injured, how would you rank these 2 free agent signings?
I would rank them pretty low across the league.
How about last and second to last?
Oh yeah. Well, no. Here's what I will say. This again, just one data point. Not saying this is a be all end all.
This looks like Aaron Banks.
It is. This is really good to see. We're doing the right stuff, which is.
Oh, look at that 86. Don't look at the snap count. Don't see that he only played 6 snaps.
It's true.
Look at the 86.
But if you think about those 9 snaps.
Oh yeah, it's 9. So it's
9. Sorry,
you're using
6
edge,
and 3. Yeah.
Edge is my preferred browser, but
except for this, it cuts
Chrome,
off. Yeah.
Chrome doesn't do this on PFF.
I know.
So I know. You know how on Windows you
it's
can pin.
The most annoying thing.
You can pin a site in a browser as an app on your taskbar. I do that for PFF in Chrome so that it doesn't do that. Cut that off.
Yeah,
and then for everything else, I use Edge.
But I will say, if he played a full game, reasonably, you can maybe put him in the 70s area. So we're trending. This is good news. This is what you want to see.
I don't think we can, with any kind of intellectual honesty, include Carolina in this, but we can do up through Pittsburgh.
Yeah. So either way, right? This is promising. This is good news, right? Pittsburgh.
The pass blocking is better than I expected, I will say.
Yes. And so that is massive. Other than the Cleveland game, which is just, man, that's just tough scenes. That's just tough scenes. That's
10th time this year that I've remembered that Aaron Banks played at Notre Dame. I don't know why it's so hard for me to remember.
It is kind of strange.
He feels
this
like
is good. This is a good.
He feels like a
Auburn
good about this, or
feels like a Virginia
Oklahoma, Virginia Tech. Yeah.
Like something
like kind of in the middle of the country from like an east to west perspective, like middle of the country. I guess Notre Dame kind of is, but then like a southern flair, bit of a southern flair.
Yep, I agree.
Notre Dame just doesn't. He doesn't feel like a Notre Dame guy at all.
Right.
Coach Len says, "Go Pack, go Pack, go." Coach Len.
I think.
And look at that face. That is not a Notre Dame face, man. That is a
no.
That's a Vander Tucky face.
It is. And this.
Where did Hobbs go to school? Hold on, go up to that.
No, we don't need to. No, we don't need to see that.
Clemson.
Nope, we don't need to see. We don't need to see where he went to school. No idea.
I'll Google it now.
No, we don't need to. We don't need to see. You can see it for a second. Nope, don't just see it. You don't need to see that.
Yeah,
we don't need to. We don't talk about this.
That's a tough scene.
We don't talk about this.
What's that chant? I-L-L.
We don't talk about this one.
Did you like him when he was at Illinois?
Not really. No.
I did not like him as a Raider. I couldn't believe
Spoon.
it. I still couldn't.
Spoon was the band.
Yeah, Spoon is legit.
But yeah, so this hasn't gone super well.
Here's what pissed me off with
not playing the slot,
among a bunch of other things. So we played him in the slot, right, against Carolina, and asked him to come in on these run fits, right? Dude was booty cheeks against the run in this game. This is like you and I kind of hung our hats on this last week. We were like, hey, why don't we just play him in the slot and have him only come in, mostly on run defense? And he was
tell you.
Dog water against the run.
Yeah.
The whole team was dog water against the run. We could not tackle to save our lives.
This is very true.
And mind you, this was like the Panthers practice squad out there on the offensive line. Like the announcers could not shut up about how they're like, the Panthers are down to their 7th, 8th, and 9th offensive linemen out there. Look, there goes.
Oh, yeah, guys.
Everybody's down on the offensive line. Oh, how many more losses can this offensive line withstand? And it's like they're ripping off like 13 yards per carry.
Yeah.
Like, ooh, boo-hoo, poor Panthers. Seems like they're still making it work out there. Yeah. If they were getting their butts whipped, I think that'd be a good talking point of like, man, kind of seems like having some of your starters on the offensive line would be helpful. Yeah. They're dominating the trenches. Dominating. They're making our entire defense, not just the defensive line, but the entire defense look silly in run defense.
Sorrell sets the line here, people. Average on the dot. Thank you, Barryn Sorrell, for being the pace car.
One snap.
For being the pace car on this assessment here. Cooper, funny. Gary, Williams, Wooden, Wyatt, Brooks, and Walker.
Way had a terrible game.
All well below that line.
Game. Oh, 38.3. Yeah.
All well below the line. Bullard as well, and Hobbs, two guys who, you would like to see play the slot. All below the line. Guys above the line, McKinney, Valentine, Stackhouse, Parsons, McDuffie, no shock there, Nixon, and Kingsley. And Igbari, a player who is rumored to potentially be traded by the Packers coming.
I'm glad they didn't trade him because I think we would have gotten like a 7th round pick for him. And
That's not.
Frankly, he's like one bad snap away from starting some games for us.
Yes, because Van Ness is down. Yeah, but so
because Van Ness is down and Sorrell can't be a contributor yet.
Massive struggle. Reason. Majority of this was a massive struggle against the run, at least according to PFF. But I don't think it takes PFF to make the blanket statement of this group did not defend the run very well on Sunday. I don't think you even need it for it, but it is interesting to see. Yeah, and they're just trotting out like it is
question, by the way.
It is super jarring to come over here and look at like, okay, well, Zavala didn't play, so like who else played? Jake Curran. You know where you went to school? Pretty sure it's Cal, but let me double check. Yes. In fact, I had to guess. That's not great. Yash is playing. Josh Nyman revenge game. Damian Lewis, who was cut by the Seahawks. Austin Corbett's the center.
I was a little surprised, by the way.
This is rough, man. This is the line.
Like the narrative that was surrounding Yash in this game of like, oh, you know, the Packers hated him and discarded him. And it's like, no, man. He like elevated himself the last couple of years that he was with the Packers and like played himself out of our price range. Like we didn't cut him because he stunk. He walked in free agency and got himself a nice little payday that we couldn't afford to hand out to him. Like he's legit. We developed him. He's been good. Chris is in the chat. He says, I haven't stopped crying until Tucker Kraft went down until now. We are here to lift your spirits.
Yes.
And also to rant about stuff that's not going right with the Packers. Now, Coach Len asks, was Yash the one to take out Hobbs? So I have a confession. I didn't watch anything in the fourth quarter of this game, except I came in when we were at the goal line. I think we punched it in on third down, right? So I think I came in and I watched the second down and third down.
Yeah. And
then I saw the long run. The Panthers were already kind of in field goal range, and then Dowdle got the really long run. They like set him up at like the 20-yard line or something like that. I was working on a project. I realized for my mental health that there were more enjoyable things to be working on than watching the Packers let the Panthers march down the field. Yeah, Yash was playing right tackle. And yeah, PFS says right tackle too. But that's definitely where I saw him lined up, was there right tackle.
Okay. Yes. He was right tackle. Hobbs was he was kind of pulling, and Hobbs and him engage, and then Hobbs I think is trying to, as Yash obviously displaces him with some force, right, momentum, all that good stuff. Big guy versus littler guy. He tries to like regain balance and try to set an edge, and I think that's him planting his leg down to kind of try to reset and force and be the force player. I think that is what caused the injury based on what I'm watching here. So yeah. Yes, he took him out kind of, but it was just more of kind of just an unfortunate part of the play. Not to the deliberate but legal-ish nature of what Scorton did when Ryan was pulling, right? That one's obviously sucks even more, right? Because it was Kraft. It's unfortunate. It's a legal play. It's hard to. It would be really hard to like be on a crusade. Yeah, Nyman did land on him a little bit at the end. I would imagine it happens before he lands on him, but maybe not. But again, if you want to go in the crusade of like, oh, why are defenders, able to kind of cut block, offensive linemen? One, it sounds like your big offense right now. Sounds like the offense lobby coming to bat right now a little bit because they can do that. They can cut guys in space. All this stuff, everything protects the offense. Nobody's protecting the defenders really. So that's my only thing with that is, yeah, it sucks. It's really, really, it's the worst. It really is. It's the worst that Kraft gets injured on a play like that. But the problem is it's how some of this goes. He wasn't even the one, getting cut, really. It just so happened he was kind of collateral on the play. And so, yeah, tricky stuff for him. But that's what happens.
We have a football question here. Chris wants to know, is Matt LaFleur's play calling predictable? The way DBs break on the ball, it seems yes, says Chris. I haven't felt like it's been predictable. I think my biggest complaints have been like the situational running when they decide to run the ball versus throw the ball. That's been my biggest gripe. That, and then I don't think that our play calling has been so great that it justifies not having our head coach involved in the rest of leading his team. I'd rather get the benefit of having him working with special teams. Everybody was laughing this past week when he says, I don't talk to kickers. And it's like, dude, we know that you don't care about special teams. We know you don't care about the kicking game. It's obvious by the fact that you're letting Brandon McManus go out there and kick, and letting Rich Bisaccia keep his job and do all this horse crap week after week. And not just week after week. It's been year after year of incompetent buffoonery on special teams from incompetent special teams buffoon coordinators. Like when you hire Mo Drayton, it's obvious why you hire Mo Drayton. It's because it's an easy hire for you that you don't have to think about, and you don't have to pay him very much. And so then, I don't talk to kickers. Ha. It's funny, but the kicking game stinks.
Yeah.
You think talking to kickers is beneath you? I would find that more amusing if the kicking game was reliable. I'd like to have you involved in the little stuff.
Yes,
it
would be nice
having a team that shows up prepared, ready to play on Sunday.
Yeah. It just, yes, all of the little stuff. And, I think that's what's going to do it, right? Like, I cannot stand this person at all, by the way, at all.
Which person?
Nick Sirianni. I can't stand
him.
Yeah. Okay. But he has completely delegated the operation. He's not calling plays. Right, maybe he's given the occasional suggestion of we're tush pushing here, but he doesn't need to do that anymore because they don't get flagged for anything. So he's delegated. He seems in on all of the stuff. Right, obviously their GM's very detailed. He's aggressive, making all the moves. That's fine, different conversation. But Sirianni seems to have the pulse on everything right now. And it stinks because I cannot stand that guy at all. Least favorite person in the league.
Hey, I just want to say I called it though when they hired him. I said this dude is winning a Super Bowl with the Eagles.
There you go, nailed it.
The Eagles are freaking good at hiring head coaches. The last 3 head coaches that they have hired have been studs.
Yeah,
you don't have to like
the Doug Peterson exit,
Nick Sirianni.
Whatever. He still won one. It doesn't really matter.
They held on to him at least a full year too long. Maybe you could argue 2 years too long.
That's probably what you get for winning a Super Bowl, right? That's kind of how that goes,
right?
So, but kudos to them for
and he was the man
realizing
for the hour. He was the man for the hour.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think the one thing Chris is asking about also with the play calling predictable. Again, we kind of discussed this a little early of what the offense is right now, where it's just a lot of deep passing concepts, 7-step drops for Jordan. And again, if you guys are following me, I've shared the link. You should definitely read it. Really good stuff on Substack. It's not mine, somebody else's, but it's 7-step drops, a lot of quick game, a lot of check and release, chip and release for Kraft, where he's the yak guy, and because he's so dangerous after the catch, because Jacobs has been good when he's been throwing the ball, and Emmanuel Wilson broke a couple tackles against Pittsburgh, like all of these threats underneath create the kind of frightened defenses to the point where they have to respect it. And that's how the 7-step drop passing game still works down the field, because guys still have to be tied down to those guys. And so, yes, they've gotten a little predictable, but because they had, two guys who make things very difficult down the field in Golden and Watson, right? That's stressful, one, and Kraft is stressful too. And now, obviously, not having that. But again, Carolina, I think, was built for it, was ready from jump. A lot of guys were dropping deep. They said, you're not throwing it behind us. We're going to keep everything in front. The deep passing game is not going to work. And they just didn't really adjust to the intermediate stuff. It really wasn't there as much. It was still a lot of quick game stuff. And so, yes, that part of it has gotten predictable. I still think JJ kind of mentioned earlier of like, this may be the best thing for them, into like a blessing in disguise of like having to make adjustments to the intermediate passing
not
game.
The best thing, but blessing in disguise, sure.
Yeah, sorry, blessing in disguise for like LaFleur
silver
and
lining.
The play
There's
calling.
a silver lining to this horrible.
This
thing.
could be what, like, okay, intermediate passing game. Let's design some more stuff. And Greg Olsen even this week was like, hey, why aren't we putting the ball in Jordan's hands more? He was even saying that earlier I think yesterday morning or so on some show. Like it feels like that they can do this. Doubs has been very good this year, especially the intermediate and deep areas of the field. Watson's a stud down the field, right? Give Golden more opportunities on routes he can get open on in the intermediate. I think he can definitely handle that. Savion perhaps continues, you show that you have confidence in him even after the fumble about being a yak threat, right? Like he's 220 pounds. Like give it, don't run that like bunch screen that you keep running with Savion. Like, yes, it worked against Pittsburgh. They scored. That's really cool. Carolina was ready for it, right? Like design more stuff for Savion in the quick game to utilize the yak skill set that you have. When Jayden Reed comes back, that will certainly be helpful. But I think this stretch before Jayden Reed comes back is going to be the most interesting offensively because of like, all right, what adjustments do they make? So, and again, the running game just hasn't been as good. And obviously part of that is a guy moving to center that has been very, very good at guard and really hasn't been asked to do that so much. And right guard continues to be an issue. It feels like we're trying to force stuff there because the rookies maybe aren't ready. And Jordan Morgan, I still think is just out of position. He's not built for that. It just doesn't feel like he's built for that if you want the running game to be what it is. And I know that the running game, maybe because there's a lot of duo going on when they're running the football of like double teams in spots, and it isn't the most explosive run that you can call. But it's one that you grind out, and Jacobs should be picking up 6 to 8 on successful runs and maybe 12 on successful runs, but it just hasn't been the same. And so all of that to say that they have to, yes, things have to be tweaked. And I think, a good way to do it is Coach Len brought it up as something really quick is like, yeah, can we do this? 6 O-linemen, Jaguars were doing a bunch of it, because they don't have Brenton Strange anymore, right, as their inline tight end. A lot of teams you're seeing break out the 6 offensive linemen. Green Bay is one of the few teams who hasn't done it yet. I have to believe.
If this was college, it would be a no-brainer. They would already be doing this all the time. Even with a healthy Kraft, they would still be doing this all the time.
Technically, Kraft is kind of a 6th lineman, so they kind of have been doing it. But now,
I'm saying
door is open.
Have Kraft it would not be instead of Kraft. It would be in addition to Kraft.
Yeah.
It'd
be like a Stanford
a Buffalo.
Yeah.
You'd have Belton coming in playing that Buffalo role. Yeah. And then you'd have Kraft out there as well. You probably would have one on each side, or you might overload the one side. And then you have the super dangerous option of having him leak out and catch a pass, or take a linebacker or two with him, right?
Yeah. Yes. And so like the 6 lineman thing might have to return. It might, like Green Bay has to consider it. It's something that I think it's difficult because, like, obviously, teams like Pittsburgh can kind of get away with having Darnell Washington essentially be the sixth lineman because he basically is one. But
I like
what
Coach
it gives
Lynn is
you
saying
is
here.
If you, yes, 100% on
Coach Lynn is saying Jordan
like
Morgan is a left tackle, which is 100,000% true.
Yeah, it just.
And by the way,
just is.
I ranted about this during the game, but it was so egregious. It bears bringing up again here on the pod. Luke Butkus, there is not any defensible reason to put Jordan Morgan at right guard with Sean Ryan at left guard. That is idiotic.
Yeah, we can't be doing
Neither guy can play at the spot that you have them at.
Yeah, we can't be doing
Here's an idea. Let's play Chris Brooks at quarterback and Jordan Love at running back. Brilliant. Let's just do that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean it yeah. It definitely has to something's got to flip. It doesn't feel like, again, if they want to be running this duo stuff and they want to be grinding it out, like 1-6 lineman's how you can do it, right? You want to get those 6-7 yard runs because you have a push up front. It's a great time to break it out against Philly. And yeah, also, again, if you want to be running this type of stuff, your guards need to be able to move people around. They can't be just kind of absorb it and survive guys. Like, these guys need to be pushing folks out of the way. It just feels like Jordan Morgan is built for the zone scheme if you want to play him at guard, period. And we kind of had this conversation in the offseason of like, if you're going to be exclusively wide zone, inside zone, fine. Jordan Morgan can play there. Like, that's going to be fine because it's all about spacing, being athletic, and being in the right position, more so than it is about truly moving the guy in front of you, right? Hat on hat stuff or double teaming stuff. Like, it's like more, yeah, would I trust Morgan to get to the second level over a Sean Ryan? Yes, of course. There's no question. But if you're going to have duo be a one of the fundamental parts of your run game, Jordan Morgan cannot be involved in it other than at left tackle or right tackle, like, period. That's how it has to be. And so that's another thing that they're kind of stuck in with this offensive line of like, hey, maybe just draft some dang guards.
Would be nice.
Crazy idea.
Draft a guard.
Draft a guard.
Elgton Jenkins panned out pretty freaking well. He's been a good guard for us. Try drafting some more guards.
They draft Thompson.
I know.
Why is he not taking this from Thompson?
I know they like this idea of these super versatile offensive linemen you can play anywhere, and like you have to have tackle experience. We have so many tackles on the roster, and nobody can play guard. And the guard play has been abysmal for 5 years.
It was totally fine when they were like, all right, look at McVay and Shanahan and all these guys, and LaFleur is joining in. Look at all the zone stuff that you can do. And it's like, yeah, we can get some of these athletic tackles to play guard. Like, that can work. We can do this. Like, that was fine. The philosophy was fine when that was happening, right? There was no problem with that when that revolution was going, and you're watching, Shanahan teams just running insane wide zone stuff where they're tossing, and it's like, yes, they have explosive backs. Everybody's winning positioning and athleticism and all that. That's really cool. Now, watch Detroit, right? Watch some of these guys that are running more duo. And Green Bay has joined in on the duo movement. Bring it back. Make it a fundamental part of your offense. Now, you can't draft tackles who you think can play guard. Unless they're like Belton size, which is fine. Like, that's what it felt like coming in. Like, Belton was going to be a guard, and they were, this philosophy's cool. Banks and Belton, they're big. Let's move people around. Like, that philosophy is fine. Now, Jordan Morgan cannot be part of that equation. He can't be. He cannot be part of that equation anymore. He has to be the left tackle long term. He's got to be moving there for 2026. That's has to be the plan at this point, for sure. And so, yeah, but exactly like that. Yes, love the chat asking all these great questions. And hopefully Fitzpatrick can obviously help in that regard as more of an inline guy who's, maybe it's his chance to grow a little bit as well, along with Musgrave when we're doing this stuff. Again, Musgrave, where can he help? we're at zone where it's
well,
like you have to get to a
Wait,
spot, right? And all of this stuff.
Let's finish up this offensive line thing real quick, and then let's dive head first into the tight end stuff.
Okay.
Coach Len is saying Elgton Jenkins' time has passed. He did not look good at guard last year. That's true. He says Tom is center in 2026. Hopefully, high draft pick. Maybe Jake Slaughter is our center in 2026. Yeah. Or maybe picking up a guy in free agency who's actually good. Or
the good news,
maybe you find some mutually beneficial trade, a player for JPJ.
Yeah, I was going to say that. You could definitely trade for JPJ once March rolls around again, right? Like it seems like
one of
Vegas
our players
isn't like
honestly
super in, right?
Is Jordan Morgan a good fit for the Raiders run blocking scheme? Like we did the Jordan Morgan for JPJ trade.
I'm honestly not sure. I'll dive into that. I'll get you an answer on that.
I feel like that would be an interesting one. Can I pitch an offensive lineup?
I feel like the answer is it's Chip Kelly.
Yeah.
So I would think so. I would think that would be. Let me double check. Well, I'll watch some. Vegas
let me pitch an idea to you.
Anyway, but yeah.
So every time we talk about fixing the offensive line, we always start with moving Zach Tom off of right tackle. And the reason we do that is because we have multiple guys who can play right tackle. And Zach Tom can play multiple spots. Put Zach Tom at center is usually where we start off. Let me pitch an idea to you. Kennard or Belton at right tackle, probably Kennard. Belton or Ryan at right guard.
Sure.
Jenkins at left guard. And then when Aaron Banks gets healthy, put him at right guard.
I'm fine with
Aaron Banks.
Giants. Let's try that. Let's try the Giants.
This might be a really nice offensive line, though. So left to right. Sheed, Jenkins, Tom, Banks, Kennard. So the guys who are not playing in this scenario, unfortunately, Jordan Morgan, Sean Ryan, and Anthony Belton, who I think are not horrible offensive linemen. But I'm just not sure where any of those guys could be good fits because I don't think any of them can play left guard. And that's kind of the hole that needs to be plugged. Right.
Maybe Belton, maybe, but like, again, we haven't seen again, this is why,
Belton's just a kind of weird, awkward fit for left guard, though. Like, he's such a right offensive lineman, you know?
He is.
So is Banks. Like, I hate that we keep playing Banks at left guard. I want him at right guard.
It would be
but we do have more guys who can play right guard. So if we have Banks at left guard, since that's where he wants to play, if we can get some competent play from him, then Belton at right guard.
Yeah.
Because I feel like Sean Ryan is Tegra Chabola. Tegra Chabola is the incumbent, and he's the entrenched starter at right guard for the Buckeyes, and everybody wants him replaced because, like, you know what his ceiling is. Like, he is as developed as he's ever going to be, and it's just kind of mid. And there's other guys who you think they're already as good as Tegra Chabola. They're already as good as Sean Ryan. And maybe they have a higher ceiling. And that's Anthony Belton, Aaron Banks.
Yeah.
So there you go. There's the pitch. Let's talk about tight end. The Cardinals released Josiah DeGuara today. I'm not advocating for bringing him back, but it's possible. We did sign 2 tight ends. We brought in Josh Weil from Cincinnati, the University of Cincinnati, not the Bengals. And what's the Tennessee kid's name? Drake Dabney. So Drake Dabney is going to wear jersey number 49, the same number that Dominique Daphne wore when he was a tight end here for us. So we're just one letter off from having Dominique Daphne back. So I don't know a ton about the former Vol, Drake Dabney, but the fact they're having him wear number 49 immediately put the question in my mind, is he more of an H-back? Is he more like an F tight end, that move tight end? Do you know anything about Drake Dabley? This is not a guy so he was in the 2024 draft class.
No.
I never watched one snap of him. Like I watched some Tennessee games, but he was not on, I think he was an undrafted free agent in that class. He was never high enough on the radar for me to watch. So, we just acquired him 5 hours ago. And I have not had any time to sit down and dig into him at all. I don't know anything about him. But Josh Weil, the big dude, 6'5", he's nearly 300 pounds. Our tight end room is kind of a grab bag of dudes. So you got Luke Musgrave and Josh Weil and John Fitzpatrick. I almost call him George Fitzpatrick. Who's George Fitzpatrick? I feel like that's a really famous name. George Fitzpatrick. I gotta Google this. Hopefully he's not somebody horrible. George Fitzpatrick. Oh, no, okay, we talked about him on this podcast. He's a tackle at Kansas State. We talked about him last year. Yeah, he started out at Ohio State and then transferred to Kansas State. Yeah, that's who it is. So he's still in college. Maybe he'll be Packer someday. Never know. Coach Lenz, good memory here. Good job. Josh Weil was a top 30 visit for the Packers. I do remember that. 12 of this said letting Ben Sims go was the most unfortunate of timing. I agree.
That was not ideal.
But why did we let him go? And presumably we can still pick him up. I don't think he got picked up by another team.
Isn't he? He's on.
We had 3 different
practice squad.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really want him back on our practice squad. I want him
Minnesota's got him.
Minnesota, that's right. But he's on their practice squad, yeah?
I think so.
There were 3 different reports that came out today that the Packers were making serious calls about Michael Mayer. So that tells you a bit about kind of where their priority is at, which is we do need that blocking tight end, obviously.
Yeah, there were some weird comments.
The biggest thing.
There were some weird comments about Mayer of under some of
his time in
more of under when some blue check marks were starting to tweet about it. There's interest there. There were people why are we picking him up? He's not a good blocker. Let me inform you that he has been a much better blocker than he has been a receiver, and that's why Brock Bowers is doing all of the receiving stuff this year. And
right.
Why they're in 12, because they're essentially not in 12 because Bowers is an extremely good receiver, and Mayer is helping out their offensive line that is struggling. So that 100% makes sense that they would be looking at someone like Mayer. And
even if you don't think he's the world's best as a blocking tight end, do you think he's better than John Fitzpatrick and Luke Musgrave and Josh Weil? I think he's better than those guys.
Yes. So
speaking of comparisons with the freaking Buckeyes, again, Buckeyes were playing just an insane amount of 12 and 13 and 14 personnel this year up until the Wisconsin game a couple of weeks ago because their offensive line needed a lot of help. And maybe the Packers should take a leaf out of that book and get some good tight ends on this roster. We're playing a lot of 12 personnel, keeping Kraft in line to block and running for some freaking reason running Luke Musgrave on routes. Coach Len says Mercedes Lewis is available. A lot of people were suggesting that today, man. It's not the worst idea of all time. I will say that. If we brought him in, I'd
honestly
go,
no,
of course. But yeah, makes sense.
No, I think it's fine.
12 of this said that he is signed to the Broncos active 53 roster. I think that is correct.
Is it? I thought they were still saying
I think he's on the active roster.
They dropped him back down.
Oh, did they?
After this week. Because I know they brought him in.
I did not see them cutting.
I thought they elevated him, and then they put him back on the practice squad.
Oh, well, that could be.
I think that's how I think that's right.
That could very much be.
So that you actually could sign him to the active roster. You just have to obviously stay there.
So getting Christian Watson back was good timing. We got him back right before we lost Tucker Kraft. And so
we just never got Watson, Reed, and Kraft to play together, which is tough. Which is a bit of a tough bit of a tough seat.
But I think it's super important to have Watson back out there.
For sure.
Matthew Golden needs to get some more playing time, and he needs more targets. I'm a little frustrated at the lack of targets that he's getting.
And the weird average depth of target that he's getting, at least the last couple weeks especially.
Well, this is the Matt LaFleur thing. Matt LaFleur,
nasty.
Like, other than Christian Watson, and it was even a thing when they were first working Christian Watson into the offense, other than Christian Watson, what young offensive skill players has he ever used downfield? It's always behind the line of scrimmage. Ooh, let's build up your confidence, get you the ball, we're doing jet sweeps, all this stupid crap. And I don't know that I really feel like it's paid off that much. Like, are we really supposed to believe that the only reason Christian Watson and Jayden Reed were as good as they were at any point was because they were used behind the line of scrimmage the first half a season they were in town? I don't think there's any correlation there. Other teams don't do that.
Yeah.
Like, they played wide receiver in college. They know how to run, name the route downfield. Coach Lynn says Savion, Heath, Wicks, and Watson can help with the blocking in 11 personnel.
Yeah, 100%.
Watson's a heck of a blocker.
Yes, he is.
Heath is a heck of a blocker.
And probably the most unselfish blocker on this entire team.
Watson or Heath?
Watson,
yeah.
Like, just truly, like, he is. When Kraft caught that first touchdown against Pittsburgh, Watson is immediately in great position, is finishing the block, pushing his guy into the end zone. Like, it is textbook stuff. And I think the other thing from that game that I wanted to bring up about Watson, that also, like, LaFleur is doing this, other teams are doing it, he is seeing it and doing it as well, is these this play action off of an insert block that you motion receiver in, give the illusion and the picture of a heavy look along the line of scrimmage as a running play, and you have players release into the C gap. In Watson's case against Pittsburgh, it was the D gap, and you create a big play on some of these crossers. And I think like that with Watson, with Wicks, Savion potentially, if you believe in his blocking ability a little bit, like that's another way you can create if you go heavy. And if you're even in 11, like there are some of these moments. Golden's had a couple of times where he's been releasing out of the C gap. They just haven't gotten him the rock. So like that is still something that's potentially in the bag where it's like that's a little bit more of an intermediate throw. And that's the kind of stuff that needs to be in this offense. Now, you could the argument maybe about this is like, well, giving the illusion to run, like Green Bay's not a good running team.
To that point,
you in the direction. I'm pointing you to Seattle. I'm pointing you to Seattle. They have not been a good running team this year. And yet, they are destroying people out of 12 in the passing game. Because teams feel the need to not act rationally, or maybe act too rationally and too logically. Either way, you could say it either way, honestly, when you think about it, because of how it's really a dilemma. It's the Nash equilibrium. There was a great video on this, but like either teams are going to match them because you don't want to get rocked in the run game, even though Seattle really hasn't done that, even when teams have been in light boxes or light personnel relative to theirs when they've run it. So teams are either doing that, and it doesn't really matter which they're doing. Like Seattle is still destroying them through the air with his heavy personnel. It was happening on Sunday night. It's been happening all year. And so it kind of proves that like you don't, and this obviously has been a big thing, but it just, obviously Seattle's been a good example of like, you don't need to be necessarily successful. You just have to have proof of concept that you have been doing it. enough to and been under center enough to show that like everything is in play here. And that positionless illusionist type of offense is still able to work. And is just maybe one of the adjustments LaFleur is going to get back to as we go along without our son. 85.
Ayers wants to talk about Castles, or I forgot
Sure.
what this is the tight end we picked up on the practice squad. We have a couple more topics we have to hit before we wrap up here.
Yeah.
I did want to
I do like this.
piggybacking off the point you've been making though. When Matt LaFleur tried his 4th and 8 versus Carolina, which he had to call a timeout because guys weren't lined up correctly.
Which, to be fair, the personnel in the field, wild for that.
So that's the point I'm making. Here are the skill players that we had out there: Emmanuel Wilson, Malik Heath, Savion Williams, Romeo Doubs, and John Fitzpatrick.
Help my man Dobbs. Help him.
This is like, and I'm sorry to disrespect these guys, but you know the clown, the meme with all the soldiers, and then there's the clown in the middle. This is the reverse of that. It's a whole bunch of clowns with one Navy SEAL in the middle of the clowns.
It's tough.
Okay,
it's just they haven't got a lot of reps. I will say, Emmanuel Wilson has done some really nice things this year. Really nice things. Please ignore.
He's who I want out there on 4th and 8.
Please ignore.
How many times have I ranted about?
Please ignore the pass blocking grade.
Personnel usage on 4th and gotta have it.
Guys, don't be tempted to look over here. I don't want. Don't look at the 7.9 pass block. Don't worry, we're fine. We're fine.
So over this says Heath is clutch, but that combo needs to be more than clutch. Somebody pointed out that Christian Watson
combo almost felt
couldn't
like
be out there because of the NFL concussion protocols.
Oh, yeah.
And I want to counter that by asking, was Matt LaFleur concussed? Because he was acting concussed with his decision making.
Trotting out that personnel almost is kind of like is funny. Obviously, with the injuries, it happens that way. But it's kind of like when the Chiefs didn't block Bosa on that 4th and 17, and Bosa was like, "Well, wait, what's going on? They got a screen behind me. What's going on?" And trotting out that personnel should be like the Panthers should be like on a high alert of like, all right, what trick play nonsense are we about to run here? Is Savion going to throw? Who's getting Malik Heath throwing? Like that's almost how that felt for a second there, the 4th and 8. Just because because after I watched that game back after, obviously after Chiefs Bills, it was just kind of like, oh yeah, like if I'm Carolina, I'm like, all right, I'm suspicious. What do we do? Like, what's happening here? Type of thing. As Bosa was when he is unblocked on a 4th and 17.
Ayers has a comment here that I was about to make. This was literally the next thing I was about to make. Yeah. Ayers stole it from me and gets all the credit because it's a great point. So he says Watson actually came back a little bigger in his upper body, which was previously a little lean. And I want to say 100,000%. Kudos to Christian Watson for working his tail off while he was in recovery. First of all, dude is not human. Not human at all. Came back looking like Superman. He looks like a wide receiver 1 physically now. He was always this skinny little thing, long torso, no muscles in his upper body. And like every time he'd get hurt, you'd be like, yeah, well, I mean, he's all bone and tendon and no muscle. Like,
yeah,
it's not that surprising. Dude has packed on the muscle. And on this podcast, we asked for that. A year and a half ago, we asked, can he put some muscle on, please? Because it might help him not take so many injuries.
Yeah.
He looks
great.
Fantastic.
Yeah. And
he looks fantastic running routes. He's so smooth. He's getting open.
Yeah.
He's fast.
Yeah.
He's getting out of his breaks, I think, better than he was pre-injury.
Yeah.
Not that it was great pre-injury.
I think here's what I will say. Okay. the things that we saw, and I kind of did this a little break. I did a little breakdown of the Pittsburgh game for Watson. It's just everything that everything that took the step forward last year was still there on essentially like a 9-month-ish recovery time, which is awesome. Sure. Like the speed is there. You see him on a play, he doesn't get the ball. He's got Ramsey across from him. Ramsey, notorious for being a physical player, right? Stays physical with him later in the stem, and Watson is ready for it and combats it super well. The out route where Jordan threw it before Watson broke. The route break transition, again, that's not Watson's game. That's never going to be Watson's game. He's just never going to be an efficient through break transition player. Doesn't matter. Even with the defender on his back, he went and attacked the football. And went to pluck it out of the air. Attack and like that was excellent. And so the fact that he has built-in answers to struggling more so with the through break transitions is, I think, the most exciting part about it. Because even if defenders feel like they're still in a good position, he now has kind of grown as a more physical player and a more concentrated player and smooth player at the catch point to make a lot of these things happen and win a lot of these where it was kind of like, this is a little iffy. He's a little, as obviously you guys have both mentioned, like he was a little thinner, right? This was, he was more so about the guy who's going to track the ball and outrun guys. And that's what he was as a rookie. And even in the second year. And so now that he's playing more physical football is a big deal. Watson's your deep ball guy. You can give him some other stuff, the deep crossers. You can throw if the deep out's going to work like that because teams are so scared of him, perfect. If he can run hitches because teams are so scared of him, perfect. And you have Doubs and Golden to run your quote-unquote big boy routes, comebacks, digs, deep curls, all that stuff. Running the deep running the dig on dagger, right? All this stuff. You have those guys for that. You have Reed, who can kind of create the speed mismatch in the slot and run good routes on top of it, while also being a yak threat, right? Because you can get him the ball in a variety of ways. Like all of this, I feel like is still coming together. It's not quite. It doesn't seem like maybe we can talk about this another time of like, because I know everybody wants to make the parallels because you lose your starting tight end in the second loss of the year.
I'm so
in a 16-13 loss, right? Like all those 2010 comps, whatever.
I don't want to have that conversation.
What I think is more interesting is thinking about if you're gonna look at 2010 versus now. It's more interesting to me thinking about where the like group of 4 receivers are at versus those 4 on their career track, right? And obviously, especially the Jennings, Jones, and Nelson. Like, where is this generation's group at relative to where they were when this like competing for championships thing really started to take off? That I think would be much more interesting to dive into as Green Bay obviously gets into this stretch run. Like all those silly like jinxie comps and all that isn't as interesting. It's way more interesting to think about like, yes, they don't really have the driver on this team, right? And they probably won't have one. Like I don't think they're gonna be signing guys, but they're deep. And like if they can complement each other well enough to the point where I think most of us would say they could, like perhaps this is still doable. You know, because people are there's no like supremely dominant team at this juncture.
Oh, absolutely.
And so that's what I would makes venture it to say that.
Yeah.
Like I think Philly had like a weird 2-2 stretch early in the season. It felt like down the stretch it was like, okay, Philly looks really good. The Lions obviously were good, but they were kind of hanging on the thread of like if they have a weird offensive game where they're off, their defense isn't going to be able to help them. And turns out it happened during the divisional round, right? And then it was like, okay, Chiefs just continue to find weird ways to win, and like Baltimore was a wagon last year. And it ended up being, and 2 of those 4 teams met. And where this feels like there's nobody like out front. It probably will be inevitable that someone is, but there's nobody out front right now. It's November. So let the emotional people like me relax and see where we go from here.
You were asking some questions about like how our receivers are developing and kind of where they're at. I wanted to throw a couple numbers at you. First of all, do you know who leads the Packers in drops on the season? There's a whole pile of guys who have one drop each. Jayden Reed, Chris Brooks, Emmanuel Wilson, Tay Wicks,
the guy who just went down,
and Doubs. Yeah, Tucker Kraft has 3 drops.
I was going to say, I think that's right.
Nobody else has more than 1. Let's look at yards per route run, which is probably at this point my favorite wide receiver stat.
It's certainly one of the best ones out there at this juncture.
And it ain't good for the Packers receiving group this year.
Which I will just say. Because nobody's become the primary and everybody's,
I'm going to tell you these numbers, and they're not encouraging. There are 3 Packers players who have more than 2.0 yards per route run. Romeo Doubs is at 1.84, and he's in 4th place. So there's 3 guys who have 2 or better. And the threshold is you want at least 2.
One of them is our son, who has gone down for sure.
Yeah, Tucker Kraft
honestly
was
it
at
can't be anybody.
2.33.
It's Kraft, and it can't be anybody else who's played long. So probably it's probably Watson and Reed because everybody else has played way too much to have it. Yeah, that's the only thing that makes sense because everybody else has played too many snaps.
Reed's at 3.21. Watson's at 2.65.
Yeah, because Reed only. Reed can't have that many routes. Detroit game they weren't throwing that much once they got up, and he didn't play much of Washington, so he can't have that many. I'm surprised it's 3 because he's got does he have 50 yards this year? What does Reed have? Does he have 50 yards?
Reed has 45 yards. Watson has 143.
Oh wow, so he's
they both played 2 games.
Routes. Wow, okay. He doesn't have that many routes then. That's crazy.
Reed has run 15 routes. Watson's run 55 routes.
That's wild. 15 routes for Reed. Yeah.
So there's a trio of dudes who have been, I would say, extremely disappointing this year. Musgrave, Savion, and Wicks. Those 3 guys are at where'd my stat go? Here it is. Those 3. Oh boy. The screen's jumping all around. 1.26 yards per out run for Luke Musgrave, 1.23 for Savion, and 1.21 for Wicks. Of those 3 guys, Wicks has run 121 routes, Savion's only run 36, and Musgrave has run 85. Now, whether we like it or not, we're going to see a lot more Musgrave from here on out.
Sick.
I'd like Savion to get some more routes. Wicks, I'm about ready to give up.
Which stinks because you know what's about to happen. When you go somewhere else.
He's 5th on this team in routes run behind Josh Jacobs, Matthew Golden, Tucker Kraft, and Romeo Doubs. So at the wide receiver position, he is 3rd in routes run. And he has a grand total of 134 yards on the freaking season. 134 yards. And no touchdowns. Let me see how many first downs he has. I'm curious about this. I know he had several in one game earlier on the season. Wicks has 9 first downs. By comparison, Matthew Golden has 11 first downs. Romeo Doubs has 26. Tucker Kraft, rest in peace, had 22.
Rest in peace. Jeez Louise. Yeah, I think
Wicks has a 63.3 passer rating when targeted.
That's
not much better than spiking the ball on the ground.
Yeah.
Wicks has been terrible this year.
Speaking.
And I'm really sad about that. He also caused an interception. I'd really would like for him to be a hit.
I would.
He's been bad.
Yeah. It's going to be weird how all of this shakes out because they aren't. What happens with Doubs is going to be obviously the most interesting because he's the only one that's technically not under contract next year. Don't know what's going to happen. Wicks, I don't know what he's going to fetch.
I don't know how you let Doubs walk though. Like he's been.
I know, but
consistent.
that means I think you got to let Wicks go. But
why? Wicks is going to cost you $5.
Yeah, so then they are they going to let Reed go? And it's like, well, if everybody's coming back.
So just don't draft any more wide receivers.
Why did you take the first round wide receiver?
Because we don't. Nobody has separated themselves as the dude. Besides Christian Watson.
Yeah. And he can't run every route, which is a problem. So.
Ayers says Musgrave needs to learn how to drop his center of gravity, I think, the most. He's too uppity in his movements, like a slight disconnect to his lower body. Let's talk about how Musgrave can improve his game. Besides, what can he do to fix his blocking? Because, like, a big part of blocking is, like, willingness. And when I watch him play, I see a willing blocker. He just stinks at it. There's a play that's getting shared where the Packers blocked it up perfectly, and Josh Jacobs runs for like 17 yards, something like that. And Musgrave takes on the defensive end and does a good enough job blocking it up. And then, like, as Jacobs is running through the gap, and the defensive end over on the left side has no chance of getting to the play and blowing it up. But, like, out of frustration, he, like, basically picks up Musgrave and throws him. And Musgrave, like, falls down, gets up, and, like, takes a swing at the defensive end. And then the two of them both chase after Josh Jacobs, and they both catch up to him. Now, that defensive end did not make the tackle on Josh Jacobs. But I was watching that, and I was like, he's a willing blocker, and he's feisty. And, like, every time you watch him block, I don't see a guy who's not willing. But he always, first of all, he gets pushed out of the way, I think, way too easily. And honestly, I kind of agree with what Ayers is saying about his center of gravity. It's like he's very top-heavy. So it's kind of easy to get him off balance when he's blocking you. Yeah. Turn him to the side, throw him down, something like that. Can he improve his blocking game? Let's talk about that before we talk about can he improve his receiving game.
Yeah. Okay. This is one thing I wanted to do because we got off track way earlier when we were talking about, like, who is one player you wanted like corner edition and corner edition. Yeah. I don't remember if you said them. Or if you were bringing up a tweet and we got sidetracked, because I know you were bringing up a tweet and we got sidetracked. I definitely want to do that quick, and I definitely want to get to some of the rapid fire to end this thing. That's two things I want to make sure we do. And 3, JJ, maybe I share what I told you in the private chat, or maybe do we just not?
That's up to you. I mean,
okay.
I don't have a problem if you want to say it, but, like,
really, I should be asking the guy who texted me.
People have been taking. Jake texted me a rumor that he heard, and all I'm going to say is, like, people have been tweeting rumors all week, and then when the rumor doesn't come true, then they take a ton of crap for it. So, roll the dice on that. Do you want to be for what it's worth? When you texted me the rumor, I texted my guy and asked him about it. And, like, nothing. Like, he didn't.
Interesting.
Seem like he'd heard about it all. So.
Okay. Okay. Well, let's talk about the trade deadline targets real quick. that you want.
As far as corners go, I was 100% out on Denzel Ward. That one made no sense to me.
It's a lot of money.
But Alontae Taylor and Cam Taylor-Britt, the two guys, both of those made sense to me. And then what's the name of the guy? Oh, Jasir Taylor, is that his name?
Yeah,
that's three Taylors. Alontae Taylor, Jasir Taylor, and Cam Taylor-Britt. Yeah, so Jasir Taylor got traded to the Jets for a ham sandwich.
Super late report on that one. Like the Penning one for the Chargers was like at the wire, and that's kind of, you sometimes see that like right at the deadline time. But the Jasir Taylor one from the Chargers to the Jets got announced like 15, 20 minutes after the deadline. I'm surprised they got that in time, and nobody was.
Well, they clearly engineered that at the last minute because they had traded away Sauce. The chat is asking you to spill the beans. Just
what I will
say the rumor.
Here's what I will say.
I
got a text.
You don't have to say who told you.
I'm not going to say who did.
Just say the name. Just say the name of the player involved.
So I got a text, just a text that from someone I know who's got some and said, "Congrats on Asante Samuel Jr." That's the text I got about an hour
I did
ago.
Text my dude and asked him. And it was like crickets. Not that he didn't respond, but crickets.
So we'll see. We'll see what happens. It is
one of those three Taylors
who
at
would
corner
also be in on that.
would have been good. One of those three Taylors at corner would have been good, or making JPJ happen, or just making any addition at guard would have been really nice.
Yes.
And I do think that there really was an opportunity to go flip Jordan Morgan for an offensive lineman who's just a better scheme fit for us. Just go find somebody out there.
Yeah.
Find just a mutually beneficial change of scenery for two offensive linemen who don't really fit the scheme they're in. That Jordan Morgan could go somewhere else that is more zone blocking, and give us a guard who can come in and gap block. Honestly,
that would be nice.
I just think that just made too much sense.
Yeah, I think
there were a lot of teams who really wanted Kingsley Anibare, and I think you could have flipped him for a tight end. I think you could have flipped him for a defensive tackle.
Yeah.
What is that?
For a 5. If there were enough teams involved.
A draft pick? I don't want a draft pick. No.
No, I'm not saying you wanted. I'm saying I assume teams were floating it.
And I'm completely – because I would give up a fifth to have a depth defensive end who's as good as he is.
For sure.
He's worth more than a 5.
For sure. But yeah, I think
Chris says
JPJ would have been the ideal non-QB or non-cornerback target for me. Like, no question. The Raiders don't seem to want him now.
I think Evan Neal would have made sense too.
That could have been that again. That sometimes when teams don't want guys, it could be, hey, this regime didn't draft him right, and it's okay. We don't really, want this player in our building. We don't think he's a fit. Blah blah blah. All of that. And it seems like the JPJ injury stuff has not bothered him so far, at least in a severe way. And so, like, having somebody who's played guard, who's played center, I think would have been very beneficial, potentially right away, and even more so in 2026, where the offensive line shuffling and decisions begin. Corner-wise, again, I know he at the beginning of the season said, "I don't think so, dog." But, I mean, there's no reason for Miami to hang on to Rasul Douglas, like, legitimately. There must not have been any interest from anybody whatsoever, because again, he is an older corner who is not serving them anything right now. They are 2-7, I think, and there's no value there for Miami. JJ, would you have offered 2-1s and 80 Mitchell for Sauce Gardner? Is the real question. Would you have done that? You would not have done that.
Can I say something?
There's only one corner I would do that
unpopular,
for.
but that I have said for many, many years. Sauce Gardner is overrated.
Yeah, you have said that. There's only one corner I would offer 2 firsts like that for, and the team is never trading him. They wouldn't dare. They wouldn't dare trade him.
Is this the Texans?
No.
Corner.
Oh, maybe two. Maybe two.
Broncos.
Yeah, Surtain for
I wouldn't give up 2 1s for him though. I give up
2 1s.
No.
I would give up.
He's worth a 1.
I would
corner
give
up. Corner is not a position that you flip 2 1s for. Name one time a big corner trade has ever worked out.
Name times that massive corners have been traded.
Jalen Ramsey.
He helped for sure.
That he was not worth what they traded for him. Absolutely not.
Trophy says otherwise.
He played like 2 years for him, and then he was cooked.
Trophy says otherwise. They need those picks. The Jags seem to do really well with the picks that they got for him.
Hey, check this out.
I might think about it for Mitchell also. But
here's the top 5 in the college football playoff rankings. Look at do you notice anything in common with all 5 of these teams? That's a lot of red.
It's a red wave in the college football playoff. It's a red wave. And then you got Mississippi at 6, who's blue and red. So, yeah. College football going one way. Anyway, whatever. Interesting first rankings that came out. The committee. So really quick, the committee, and I promise folks who aren't that concerned, I'm going to rapid fire some of these at the end. I have some starred.
All right, go ahead and rapid fire because we got to hop off here.
Okay. So a couple quick things. I know, Bungie Cheddarbug was in here about like, hey, we're drafted developed. Do you think they were actually going to make moves at the deadline? Probably not. Yes, they have other guys in the building. I get it. And there were other avenues, like with a certain player, that may happen or not. Dershel said they should never be they shouldn't be a 12-point dog against anyone. Talking about the Panthers going forward. Yeah, Panthers low-key have kind of been that team that they're not going to probably make the playoffs, but they've been a competitive football team for the most part this season, which is a good development for them. Other than Jacobs coming over from the Raiders for Rich has been worth it, said too old for this. Move on from Rich and Steno, move forward. Also, if you want to acquire some Raiders like Genty in a few years or JPJ in March, sounds good to me too. The Raiders seem to have players we'd like. Let's see. Too old for this. Echoing JJ. Want to see Savion be used as a wide receiver. JJ's long.
Yeah, I already copyrighted this. You can't. You owe me royalties for saying that.
I do. Too old for this said he was on the Musgrave train because it's the only train that could guess where we're trying to get to, even if it's clanky and derails a lot. Sounds like the pod. Lovely that. Let's see here. Coach Len says is Asante Samuel Jr. slot corner or boundary corner. I think he should have no problem being a boundary corner in Halfley's defense when they sign him. I mean, if they sign him.
By the way, for reporting from every possible direction is that the Packers that they do have plans with Asante Samuel Jr. to bring him in for a workout. That has been reported a whole bunch of different places.
All right. I'm going to do a quick narration on how the workout's going to go. All right. Hey, we timed Nate Hobbs.
Check his pulse. See if he's alive or not.
We had Nate Hobbs do these times in August before he got hurt. Please beat these times. If you beat these times, you're in. Yeah, no, that'll be fun. You healthy? Great.
Here's the workout. We're going to have Nate Hobbs.
Come on in.
And Asante Samuel Jr. both walk across the room and just see
Hobbs
who
is
walks
gonna
across
limp.
the room better. There you go. That's the test.
What happened? It's like,
all right. I guess we can sign him.
Yeah.
Okay. Ohana Packers podcast.
Yes.
Why
are the ats showing up for me? Did we do something?
No, yeah. Well, we talked about this last week. It's doing this. So this is Mike Kawano and what's his co-host name? I can see his face in front of me.
Joe.
Iowa Joe.
Yes.
Who was also. So I'm not sure if this is Mike or Joe who's talking to us here, but he says, I don't know if you talked about it or not, but do you think Musgrave was the Broncos' target after hearing a report they were in on someone, but the team they talked to had an injury and backed out? Seems obvious that this is the guy. Were there any other big tight end injuries this week? I think it was just Kraft. So this is clearly the guy. Would have been nice. Hey, we almost got their corner for Musgrave, but it fell through because we got
Musgrave for Surtain was guys. Is this? We also asked for Jayden Barryn. They didn't seem to want to do that. They like him long term. We're trying to do deals. We like deals.
Sorry, Joe. Look, I like you better anyways because you're not a Michigan fan. So
there you go. For me, it's Iowa and Michigan. I don't have a favorite. That's the good news for you both. I don't have a favorite.
How do you how do you care about Iowa?
I don't know how anybody could very much so. I care about them. Yeah, so that's fun. Any other things from the trade deadline today, JJ? Lots of moves. Jacoby Myers went to Jacksonville. That was interesting. Obviously, Sauce, we talked about it. They're really interesting that they did this for they did that with, they think they have their QB, which is interesting. You know how that goes. How about Jerry? JJ? How about Jerry? Which I think. Wait, we gotta put this up. Where is
goofball trading for Quinnen Williams?
Yeah. Jerry goes and gets Quinnen Williams. Jets getting Mozzie Smith on the way back. Love to see that. Got some stuff that Quinnen and Kenny are the best DT duo in the league. That's news to me. But apparently that's what some people think after that trade. JJ, I'm not sure where you are on that one.
On which one? I was reading Chris's comment.
So the takes after the trade was that the Clark and Quinnen is the best DT duo in the league. Now
from who? Dallas Cowboys 19
you would think so.
93
you would think
on
so.
X.
You would think so. But no. That was wild. It did not take me long to think of
anybody
teams
we care about or just some schmuck on ESPN. I guarantee you there's schmuck on ESPN.
Some came from ESPN, some came from Dallas Cowboys sites. There was a lot of that.
So we don't care. Right. Okay.
Probably not even the best in the division, but we'll leave that alone. For
the Packers were rumored to be in on Chigozie Okonkwo, who I really liked in college. And I don't know how much of a scheme fit I feel like he is in Green Bay.
We already got slot receivers.
We already have Drake Dabney.
Yeah. I ain't concerned. I need a man's man at tight end. Give me Michael Mayer. He can block.
All right. I have Drew
as Romeo Doubs said, a man's in a better place. A man's in a better place. Now, yeah, Tennessee even has
for
one.
Eli
That's
Apple.
crazy. Yeah.
What year would that have made sense? In 2017?
I don't think any.
I don't
think any.
What about the year that he played for Cincy and they made it to the Super Bowl?
Is that just like success adjacent? Sure, fine.
Yeah,
it works for me, I guess. But a man has gone to a better place. We need a tight end. We brought some in.
Can I give you? Do you want to do one more thing before we hop off, and I'll do one more thing? Here's my one more thing.
Oh, too old for this. Well done. All right, yeah, go ahead.
All right, 4-star defensive lineman Emmanuel Ruffin decommitted from Colorado today.
Why?
He announced he's down to 6 teams. I would like to,
JJ.
I would like to draw your attention to the 6 teams here. How many of these have head coaches right now of these 6 teams?
3?
Yeah, 50% of these teams don't have head coaches right now.
Yeah. And I know which 3. It's very easy to know because 3 of them are either in the playoff currently or near it enough. And the other 3, had a great win to start the season that turned out to not be a great win because the team was not very good. And then they weren't very good. The other 2 have blue and orange, so they should already be used to unsuccessful seasons, just by color adjacency. So, yeah. Where would I go? Probably, hey, it's a red wave, as we were saying in college football. I'd probably pick one of those 2. So,
who was the last defensive lineman that Mizzou put in the NFL?
Okay. Wait. Charles Harris was a first-round pick. I know that.
10,000 years ago.
Didn't they have a D tackle?
I'm just saying, Bama and Ohio State have been cranking out D linemen since you were born.
So many. One of them just got traded today for fun by Jerry himself, because one team's in a fire sale. But as JJ said earlier, Fernando Mendoza, you are a New York Jet. Maybe, if you have the first pick.
Well, hey, don't forget Andrew Berry might just go hog wild. He's got like 5 first-round picks to play with anyways. And there's nothing to stop him from trading a 2030 first-round pick.
Andrew Berry's listening to, hey, you do whatever you want. Live.
He's not gonna
obviously
be around
don't do that.
To not have a first-round pick to spend. So why not go for it?
Obviously, don't do that, Andrew Berry. No, you do whatever you do whatever you want. Live. As Kyle Shanahan said, we might not be here. That's the one. Okay, I knew there was one recently. Darius Robinson. There we go. Guy we talked about a lot. Yes. There we go.
Do you give me your? This is the last thing, and then we're hopping off. Give me what your top 12 would have been for the college football playoff.
Oh,
so that
sweet. Okay, yeah. Let me.
So the real official.
Do you have the?
Is.
I can't believe I went to Schefter for the bracket, but he had it already. Good to go.
So the real one. Let's do this. Let's each of us. We'll start at 12 and work our way up. And we'll do who the committee picked, and then who we would have picked for each spot. So at 12, the committee has Oklahoma.
No, well, wait here.
Am I looking at the wrong thing?
So So college football playoff, they tweeted those weird rankings, but then they showed this bracket. This is the bracket, and I don't know why the committee.
Can you collapse the comments on the right? This is hard to see. It's really small.
Yeah. So.
Oh, so they have it formatted.
So I don't know why they released those weird rankings and then did this, because this is what you just should have made the rankings then. It was super weird. I saw it as well, JJ. They were going down the list one by one when they did the 25, and then
Does that say 14 Virginia?
Yeah. Because Louisville's 15. They're the highest ACC team in those 1 to 25s. But the champion's going to get in for the ACC, and Virginia's the highest ranked ACC team, so they have to be in.
Oh, I didn't even think about this.
So this is they screwed this up because of they counted down from 25 and they didn't put because 12. Memphis is not ranked, right? It says it on here, NR, right. Not ranked. And it was kind of okay, but you have to put one of them in. So Memphis was I figured Memphis was.
So let's just do their actual 12. Because I don't want to have to sit here on the live pod and try to figure out my. Yeah,
it was ridiculous. My stuff actual with how they released these, but
with their actual 12, they have Oklahoma 12th,
and Texas 11th in the rankings.
I had Texas 12th. So for me, Oklahoma was first team out of the top 12. I had them at 13. I had Texas 12. Who did you have 12?
I also have Texas technically 12,
Okay.
but they would technically be 11 for me because Memphis is a team that has to get in. Because best group of 5 is getting in.
Yeah, but we're not doing that. We're just talking about
You're
1
just
through
ranking
12.
teams. You just want to rank teams. You don't have to worry about the playoff. This is more like a poll, right? You want to rank teams.
Just because we're not prepared. I didn't come in here prepared
I made the
to think
playoff.
about. Did you?
Yes.
Well,
I made the
see,
playoff.
So I had Louisville as my highest ranked ACC team.
So did I.
So I guess they would be, and I had them at 14. So I guess that would be
They would be in as your ACC.
And then I had Virginia down at 17, and I had Memphis at 25. So I did actually have them ranked.
Okay, but obviously, yeah. No.
But they would be in the playoffs then.
Okay. Do you
as the group of 5, group of 6?
Okay.
Champion.
Let's do this. Do you have these 4 in the top 4? Ohio State, Indiana, A&M, Bama.
No.
Okay. What is your top 4? Let's start here.
So my 4 is BYU.
Okay.
And then my 3 are A&M, 2 Indiana, 1 Ohio State.
Okay. Got it.
So I have BYU ahead of Bama.
Okay. Fair enough. Probably will be when all is said and done.
It's not even remotely difficult for me. Having been watching Alabama all year and seeing the teams they've struggled at and seeing the ways that they've had to find ways to win, screw that. I am way more in on BYU.
Fair enough.
And the committee putting Georgia at 5 makes me sick to my stomach.
We're not doing that. Who you got 5?
At 5, I have Oregon.
Same.
Their only loss, and it was at home, was to Indiana, who might be the best team in the country.
I will put on the record I do have Bama at 4, but I do have Oregon at 5, and that was not hard to do.
I didn't hear the last thing you said because I was laughing at Tool over this saying, does BYU play more zone or Mormon? That's amazing. That's so funny.
God, save his comment.
So funny.
So good. Oh, man.
Iowa Joe says, I don't see Iowa on there, so I think this bracket is null and void. Hey, I have Iowa ranked. I have them at 19.
I'm cackling.
That's
incredible. I'm cackling. Okay. Okay, so yeah.
All right, so I guess we're doing top to bottom. So who do you have as 1? I have Ohio State 1.
I have Ohio State, then Indiana, then
I have Indiana at 2 as well, and I would be okay with Indiana at 1, but the big difference when you watch Indiana and Ohio State is that Indiana is trying to make a statement, and therefore they are running up the score on everybody. And so it looks better in the box score.
For sure.
Ohio State is playing at the slowest pace of play in the country behind the service academies. They have played 4 fewer games worth of snaps than Tennessee because they are playing so slow, trying to save and be as fresh as possible for the playoffs. And when you watch the way they are barely putting their foot on the gas at all, and they are still steamrolling every team they come across.
Yeah,
and so
it's true.
If you're not watching the games, I understand wanting to put Indiana ahead of Ohio State
because of
I think Indiana is a crazy talented team, and they might win the Natty. But just watching the way Ohio State just effortlessly, without trying at all, they're like a steamroller, just squishing everything in their path. They're number 1 for me.
Okay.
But it's like a 1A, 1B. I absolutely giving all the flowers to Indiana, assuming that Ohio State doesn't get tripped up in Ann Arbor, which is certainly not a safe assumption at all. The Big Ten championship is going to be these 2 teams competing for the number 1 spot in the playoffs. The Heisman, because it's either going to be Julian Sayin or Fernando Mendoza, unless something crazy happens in between now and then. And the Big Ten title. Like, it's going to be a huge game. It's going to be super fun.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Yeah.
So my third team is A&M, which is, I think, the only team in the SEC that I actually think is good. The SEC is incredibly mid this year. And no amount of glazing from ESPN should change your minds. Just watch the games.
Yeah.
Watch Ole Miss play football. Watch Georgia go out there and get gifted win after win by SEC refs. And watch Alabama just get handed wins by just incompetent competition. Complete incompetence. And then you have the ESPN out here tweeting, "Oh, check out Alabama's win against preseason number 13 Arkansas or South Carolina or whoever it was." Who gives a crap where the team was ranked in the preseason? Nobody. Like, Jake, if I came out here and I was like, check out what Ohio State did against preseason number 1 and number 2 Texas and Penn State, you'd laugh me off of this podcast. It's a ridiculous brag. We've all watched the games. Nobody cares about preseason number 1, number 2, number 13. The SEC is crazy. Oh, I didn't mean to. I meant to pin the sentiment, but not the swear word. We'll put Tool for this.
We'll put the more zone.
Iowa Joe. If you don't use profanities, your comments can be on screen.
What's your profanity?
A&M is genuinely good. They are my number 3. A very deserving number 3.
Yeah.
Who's your number 3? You have A&M as well?
I do, yes.
Okay. The consensus top 3 is not very controversial.
No.
At number 4, I have BYU. I think they have played better than all the one-loss teams you might be wanting to stick in there instead. And they Iowa, Joe.
Love that. So love that.
You're so funny. Can't put it on the screen. I have BYU. Who do you have 4? Do you have Bama?
Yes. I have Bama at 4.
Okay.
And then we both have Oregon at 5, I believe. What we said. Yep.
Mm-hmm. So my 6 is Bama.
Okay.
Who's your 6?
Texas Tech.
I have Tech at 7.
Okay.
So I'm curious, do you have BYU at 7 like the committee does?
I do. Yes.
Okay.
I do have them at 7.
So other than
I think Texas Tech, well, we'll see. We're going to find out this week. Texas Tech BYU matchup this week. Going to be fun. Tune in.
Yeah. And like I said earlier,
we're going to find out.
The unfortunate thing is that the Big 12 is eating itself. The Big 12 is what ESPN wants you to think the SEC is, which is a bunch of good teams who are dragging each other's records down. The SEC is a bunch of mid teams who are dragging each other's records down. And like, I actually think that if you wanted to just say that both those conferences are kind of playing at kind of an equal level, I think that's fine. But when you contrast that with how
other than here
the media is talking about these two conferences,
other than these guys,
Texas A&M notwithstanding, but the rest of the conferences, like the way they're glazing Georgia, and like Kirby Smart had a really catchy line that he said that captured everybody's imaginations. He said, "Well, we're hard to kill," and now everybody's taking that run into Georgia's hard to kill. Georgia's hard to kill.
I would love to play them in the bowl game.
You can't play them because they're busy playing a bunch of mid teams and getting gifted wins.
I would love Illinois versus Georgia. Give me it. Let's see it.
I like Illinois' chances in that game.
I would love to see that. I would love to see that. Okay.
You and I have the same top 7, just in different order.
Yep.
Who do you have at 8?
I have Ole Miss, not Georgia. I have Ole Miss.
I also have Ole Miss at 8.
I
have Georgia at 9.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that what you have?
Yeah.
So we have a little bit of a shuffling from 4 through 7, but we have the same top 8 teams or top 9 teams.
Yes.
So who is your? I'm going to ask who is your 10th team because
if you remember what I said earlier about who was at 11.
You said earlier.
Then
you said Texas.
I did. So that means Louisville is at 10 for me.
Okay.
And you know
Louisville for me is down at 14.
Right. But if an ACC team must get in.
So I have an SEC team at 10, actually.
Do you?
And it's an SEC team that the playoff committee does not have in. And I don't remember. Let me see if I have this still pulled up here. Okay.
Obviously, the first two teams out for the
committee has this team down at 16.
That's Vanderbilt.
It is Vandy, yeah.
I didn't even have to look.
I have
Vandy. I didn't
Vandy
know where
10.
they were, but I was like, it's got to be them.
I have
the
Vandy
committee
at 10.
has Texas and Oklahoma as the first two teams out right now.
I have Notre Dame at 11.
Okay.
And so that actually means Notre Dame would be out.
Notre Dame's out for me right now because ACC team has to get in.
The ACC and then the group of 6 has to get a team. So
yep. Notre Dame's first team out for me right now.
But Notre Dame, I certainly think, can catch up with Vandy. They're not going to catch up with Georgia because we've already seen, like, they've got freaking Georgia at 5 on this.
Would love to see Notre Dame play Georgia again.
Notre Dame would whoop Georgia.
That would be really fun.
Demolish Georgia.
Honestly, I would love to get an A&M Notre Dame rematch. That would be sick if we could get that in the playoff. Would love to see that matchup again. It was a tremendous game the first time around.
I will say I'm kind of shocked that the committee just very easily put A&M at 3 and Notre Dame at 10. Yeah. And that they would not have a spirited conversation about in that conference room about the way that game ended.
Yeah.
Because I think it's they basically unanimous from neutral observers that the way that game ended was a blatant missed call by the refs that benefited A&M and allowed them to win.
Actually, you know what? I'm tweaking this sucker, if I may.
You can't demote A&M, but I think
I'm not demoting A&M. No, this is much better. All right. So I already said what mine was: Ohio State, Indiana, A&M, Bama, Oregon, Texas Tech, BYU, Mississippi, Georgia, Louisville, Texas, Memphis. Right. I'm gonna kick Georgia out, and I'm gonna put Notre Dame in.
Very deserved. This is why you're my podcast.
I'm doing that. I'm kicking Georgia out. They're out. See ya. Didn't want you. Notre Dame will be at 9. Louisville will stay at 10.
You are a good college football analyst.
Louisville will stay at 10. Texas will stay at 11. I think, unfortunately, Texas will probably be seeing you. They're playing A&M at the end of the year. Hurts to say, but Arch, hey, you guys go in there.
How often does Texas play A&M though? Because they're geographically they're geographic rivals.
That's going to stay. They played at the end of last year too. That was the 6:30 night game.
This could get wonky because of the familiarity. I don't think it's a slam dunk that A&M beats them just because they're better.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, so I have Notre Dame as my first team out.
I got Georgia as my first team out,
and then I got Texas, Oklahoma.
Oh.
After that, so Louisville is in for me. They're 14th for me, but they are in because of the structure.
Yeah. Don't forget, in a week and a half, Texas at Georgia. Texas, get it done. Okay, go get it done.
I would love.
And also,
this would make me so happy.
Georgia has bubble ACC championship game team Georgia Tech on their schedule. Don't forget, Georgia Tech, not bad. Okay.
Yeah, I have Georgia Tech at 16. I have it at 16.
I think that's where the committee's got them as well. No, that maybe 18.
Let me ask you real quickly,
but
because we have to end this, we're way over time. But let me ask you this real quickly: how many Northern teams do you have in your top 25? I'll
only
tell
made
you
15.
mine.
I only made 15.
So you probably don't have very. You probably only have 3 then.
No, I've got more than 3.
Louisville's
BYU, right?
They're certainly a border
BYU is one, right?
Louisville is one of those. We claim them when they're good. So, all right, Ohio State, Indiana, BYU, and Oregon. That's
or Notre Dame.
That's 4 in the top 5. And then Notre Dame is 5.
Yep.
Louisville we're claiming because they're 7-1.
Louisville's good.
So that's 6 in the top 14 for me.
Yeah.
I have Washington at 18. I have Iowa at 19, Utah at 20, Michigan at 22, Cincinnati at 24.
Committee had Utah decently high, no?
They have Utah at 13.
Wow.
They have Iowa at 20, Michigan 21, Washington 23. No Illinois. I have Illinois.
Yeah, that's fair.
I don't have Illinois in.
They shouldn't be.
They were on trajectory to be in, and then they played themselves out of that trajectory.
Listen, I said it before the season, 8-4 made the most sense for Illinois. Kind of looking like that's what it's going to be.
Here's what makes no sense.
What's that?
Tucker Kraft's injury, and we're in honor of him.
Wait.
In honor of him.
There we go.
Yeah. Okay, hand over your heart, Ethan. Thank you all for listening. This has been Derailed. In the words of the late, great Tucker Kraft, rest in power. Go Pack.
You got this.